Live from Indianapolis Raceway Park, it's the 53rd running of the Budweiser Night Before the 500. Gary Lee along with Larry Rice on the track right now, about to go green. The next time by is the non-qualifiers race. These are the drivers that qualified 33rd through the balance of the field of 53 cars here this evening. Joe Janowski will have the pole alongside Jerry Coons. As you take a look at the rest of the starting lineup, only 3 will transfer. Basically, in a USAC midget program, the top 32 qualifiers go into the 4 heat races. The non-qualifiers race then will produce 3 for the back of the semi. Now, this is why we're delayed. This happened on the opening lap about 20 minutes ago.
Yes, Hartzell and Baumgartner get together going down the back straightaway. Causes a huge crash. You can see that Baumgartner in the black car gets into the wall. Everybody else trying to miss him gets up there. That is the
Jeff Snelling smacks the outside wall in the 57 car.
Exactly. And Chad Davenport actually is the one who got upside down. And it was a 5-car crash. A lot of guys out of this race just after that.
Jerry Coons, who was victorious at 16th Street Speedway on Thursday evening, did not qualify well, has to go through this race. He is in that yellow number 7. Again, only 3 will transfer, and they go to the back of the semi. So a chance to qualify through the semi, very, very slim for the back of the pack.
Yeah, Coons did a great job. He got a great start, jumped out into a good lead over everybody else on that original start. He did the same thing on the original start. This time, though, he jumped out into a bigger lead. Joe Janowski
is
running
in second position.
That's right.
There's the battle for the transfer spot. The 54 car is Matt Westfall, last year's Neymar's midget champion.
Look at red cars everywhere battling for 3rd spot.
Studerell is in the red number 73, but again only 3 transfer, and that is the battle back there for that 3rd spot.
Right, that 16 car is John Herb. He's driving a car that he's been driving all year long, and it looks like he's moved up. He started a ways back in the pack. He's moved up several positions already in this 6-lap race.
Once again, 3 will transfer, and Coons well out in front. The Janowski number 60 rides in 2nd position. 3rd, look at this move to the inside. That's the battle for 3rd. Matt Westfall, the red 54, is in 3rd. That's the number 16 of Herb running in 4th position.
And that, of course, is the last transfer spot. Herb trying to move in there. Gets down to the bottom of the racetrack. Of course, in this racetrack, the groove is right in the middle. It's not at the bottom. It's not at the top. Since they've recontoured it, the groove is right about in the middle of the racetrack. Usually you can go to the bottom and slide up in front of somebody, but you have to get a real good run off the corner down the straightaway.
And every now and then in the shot you get that purple and yellow number 11. That's David Bridges. And there's a move to the inside. Can he make it stick?
No, he didn't. He didn't slide up there, and he did give Westfall enough room. That was a good job by both of those guys. He could have slid up there and made him a little bit nervous, but he didn't do it. He held the race car down, and Westfall was able to hang on to the position.
Westfall's in 3rd. Your leader is Jerry Coons. He's taken the white flag. The leader over in turn 4 now as he brings that yellow number 7 off the corner as we watch this battle for 3rd. The battle for the transfer spot, and it will go to the 54 of Matt Westfall. Out of the Buckeye State of Ohio, there is your winner. So Jerry Coons, who will go to the back of the semi, as will Joe Janowski in the black number 60. Janowski, a veteran of go-kart and shifter kart racing. And the 3rd place will go to Matt Westfall. So those 3 will transfer. A good crowd on hand here in the brand new grandstand at Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Have you seen it? The topic of every tree's whisper. The reason the stars twinkle. What every wing caresses. Look for it and you will fail to see it, even as it surrounds you. It's in our first breath, our last, and every breath in between. It is precious, this invisible thing called air, which is why we try in little ways to protect it. It's just something to think about the next time you need fuel.
If you looked into your local carrier's phone lines, what time period would they place your company in? Why live in the past when local's future is right through here? On net, where local, national, and global all flow over one network owned by one company. Oh, and did I mention it'll save you money? On net from MCI WorldCom.
The true measure of a sport utility vehicle is not where it can go, but rather where it has been. The 1999 V8-powered Toyota Land Cruiser.
I'm everyday people.
I've won my share of races, but I didn't do it alone. It takes a great team, and Slick 50 is a part of my team. I'm one of the millions of people who rely on it.
Now there's Slick 50 Synchron synthetic engine treatment with a 100,000-mile limited warranty and pour-and-drive convenience.
It's hard to beat Slick 50. I count on that.
Slick 50 Synchron synthetic, the next generation of engine treatments.
And for peak performance, use Slick 50 Synchron synthetic fuel system treatment.
The shot, the slide spin right in front of him. What a great heat race. They finished side by side. What a wild week it's been on Thunder. We've seen the Silver Bullet Series christen the new IRP. Sprint cars flying around the high bank Anderson quarter mile. Can the action get any closer? Tonight, the MCI WorldCon USAC Midget Stars make their 99 Thunder debut in one of the series' classic events. It's the 53rd annual Night Before the 500, next on Thunder. The 53rd running of the Budweiser Night Before the 500 has attracted 52 midgets attempting to make the 25-car starting field. It has been a sunny and hot day here in central Indiana, a temperature in the mid-80s, and a large crowd has arrived to fill the brand new grandstands here at Indianapolis. Almost at the Indianapolis Speedway. Raceway Park. Obviously about 10 or 15 miles west of the Indianapolis Speedway. Of course, a lot of folks in town for the big race tomorrow. They're here tonight watching this format right here. We've just seen the 6-lap qualifier, the top 3 transfer. The 4 8-lap heats with the top 4 transferring. The 10-lap semi-feature with the top 8 transferring. So 50 laps, 24 starters with 1 provisional. So actually 25 starters will be on hand for this 50-lapper here this evening. Well, one of our pit reporters is always Amy East, with the drivers had a real tough week for being the defending champion of this division. Amy?
Well, he's also the defending champion of the Silver Bullet Series. And last night at the Indianapolis Fairgrounds in a hot lap session, we had a mishap there. Went right into the wall. Jason, tell me what happened and how it's going to affect you tonight.
Well, last night we were hot lapping our brand new Beast car, and it was unfortunate. We had something, whether it come out of gear or something, going into one, and hit the wall pretty much head on, and broke my hand, broke a bone in my hand. It's going to hurt me tonight, but you know, we qualified 4th, and hopefully we can get out of the heat race and get in the feature and get in a rhythm.
Okay, Jason, good luck tonight. As you see, this is what he has to deal with. And right over here, this is what they've got on his steering wheel to help Jason steer tonight at Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Should I let him go for the second heat?
Been a tough week for Jason. He tipped over at the 16th Street Speedway on Thursday evening. Had a lot of trouble with a brand new Beast chassis last night, but a race driver wants to be in a race car, hurt or not. Athletes play hurt. He's back here today, and obviously will be hampered, but still qualified very fast.
Right, he qualified extremely quick for the conditions he's under.
Mark Boyce and Mike Roselli will occupy row 1 for our first heat race. Dane Carter and Ed Carpenter in row 2. Tony Ave and Chuck Leary will occupy row 3. And Danny Dryden in his first ride after being burned at Orlando in that Silver Bullet ride back in January. And fast qualifier Tracy Hines in row 4. Not a very good night for Tracy Hines last night as well. He's been on a hot streak here recently. We talked about him Wednesday evening. Has been one of the real hot shoes in USAC right now, but had a couple of crashes last night in that Silver Bullet race at the State Fairgrounds.
Well, last night is probably the only bad luck he's had all year long. He's been extremely fast in everything that he's run, and he was fast last night. He just had all kinds of problems. He got into the fence in hot laps, and it just went downhill from there, and ended up against the fence again later in the night. So I think he's looking for bigger and better things. Obviously, with quick time, he's already on his way.
Dan Dryden back there in the white 33 had second and third degree burns after that race when he was injured in Orlando back in January. He's been building race cars very successfully, been at the racetrack for the first time back in the cockpit, one of the faster qualifiers here this evening. A drag race off the corner. Mark Boyce on the inside in that number 4, but Roselli takes the lead at 98. Now, once again, the inverted start, the fastest qualifiers on the rear. Only 4 will transfer.
Usually the guy on the outside of the front row has a better angle at the corner. Right there, Roselli took advantage of it, beat him into the corner. And now then you can see already Trace. No, that's not. That's
Chuck Leary.
Leary on the bottom there. I thought that was both those black cars, but that Leary has already moved up into 3rd position. He started way back in 6th.
Leary, a former Rookie of the Year in this series. There's Tony Ave, that silver number 75 car with the hot pink numerals.
And Tracy Hines just went to the outside of him. Now he's going to go to the bottom side of the racetrack. He's going to use the whole racetrack. You can see Drinan in the white 33 car. He tried to go to the outside of Ave. He did not make it work that time.
Back there is that iridescent number 3. That is Ed Carpenter. Ed won the midget race at Louisville about 2 weeks ago.
And Tracy Hines just put a nice move. That's Dane Carter in that white number 26 car. Now that Ave is going to move inside of Dane Carter, try to move around him. Carter driving that car. I think this is only the 1st or 2nd run he's had in that car. He likes that race car, but right now he needs to hang on to the position so he can transfer.
And a battle for 3rd. As Tracy Hines goes around Mark Boyce, and down the backstretch, Tracy goes to 3rd. Boyce drops to 4th. And you have to think that Drinan's going to be making a move here sometime as he goes around Ave on the high side. Here comes Ed Carpenter. Carpenter goes by Ave. And Dane Carter, the 2nd generation driver. His dad Poncho was a midget champion back in 72 and a sprint car champ in 74 and 76 and a silver bullet champ in 78.
And right now, Chuck Leary has jumped out into the lead. Mike Roselli running in 2nd spot. So this is the battle further back in the pack. These guys are all trying to move up into that 4th final transfer spot. And right now, that's the best battle on the track as Eddie Carpenter inside of Dane Carter. And once again, Dane Carter seems to have a little bit of a push right in the center of the corner. Moves up the racetrack, and Carpenter went on by.
Well, it looks like the 33 car of Drinan may have a shot at the 4th and final transfer position.
And that is Danny Drinan. That's Mark Boyce. He's trying to go around. That's the transfer spot. That's a 4th position. There you see 2nd and 3rd as Tracy Hines has gotten around Roselli for 2nd. Roselli running in 3rd. And now Danny Drinan back there trying desperately. Oh, look at that thing.
Move.
He drove that thing in there so deep.
That's just holding your breath.
He really made that thing work. When you do something like that, you hope that guy's not going to go in there deep enough and won't be out there because you're not going to stop him from sliding up the racetrack. He slid up right in front of him, but he had 2 car lengths to spare. It looked easy.
A great innovator, a great car builder, and I'll tell you what, he is a spectacular race driver. But here is Chuck Leary from nearby Greenfield, Indiana. Comes off the corner, takes the checkered flag, so Leary will win the first heat race.
Right. He makes the heat race. Roselli finishes in the top 4, as does Danny Drinan. So those 4 cars will transfer. And some of the others are going to have to go back through the...
Tell you what, as they take a look, this number 30 could be a car to reckon with later this evening. Didn't qualify all that well, but a great ride for Chuck Leary as he wins the first of 4 heat races here at Raceway Park.
Are you tired of waiting for monthly car magazines? Don't wait. Get Auto Week. Start Auto Week racing to you every week. For a true car lover, once a month is not enough. Don't wait for racing coverage. Auto Week covers it all. NASCAR, kart, Formula One, sports cars, the IRL, and brings it to you first. Behind the scenes as well as on the track, just days after the race. Don't wait for the fastest road tests. Auto Week drives every new car, truck, SUV, and van, and tells you about them first, as only a weekly can. For a true car lover, once a month is not enough. Don't wait for auto shows, trends and insights, personalities, and special features. Call 1-800-232-1502 for 52 weeks of Auto Week at our absolute lowest price, just $19.95. Save over $100 off the cover price. You've thought about it. Stop waiting. Call 1-800-232-1502 now for Auto Week. Don't wait for monthly car magazines. Get Auto Week every week. Once a month is not enough.
This summer, as America hosts one of the biggest sporting events on the planet, as 16 nations battle on U.S. soil, as 20 women attempt to become the greatest team in the universe, only one question remains. Will he be there?
The Women's World Cup on ESPN and ESPN2 begins June 19th.
Back at the annual night before the 500, Chuck Leary takes the win in heat race number 1. Tracy Hines went 2nd. Mike Roselli was third, and Danny Dryden made that gutsy move on the inside to take fourth position, the final transfer spot. So Mark Boyce, finishing fifth, will have to go through the semi. And Amy East once again joins us in the victory lane with our victor.
Chuck Leary, it's been 2 years since you've run at Indianapolis Raceway Park in a 2-year-old car. What's your secret? You're very fast.
Well, I got a lot of help. I got to credit my crew chief Bob Miller, and Tracy Hines has helped me out quite a bit, and Bob East. And, my Gertie engine's running pretty good tonight, too.
Chuck, you haven't been running with the Midgets for quite a while. Actually, this car has ran with Tracy Hines in it and been victorious here at IRP. Are you back? Are you back for good now? Are we going to see you on some more Thunders this year?
Well, you know, my dad had a stroke about 4 months ago, and I'm kind of racing on my budget now, and so I'm going to race as much as I can, and I'm really concentrating on the Champ Car Series. We ran 5th last night at Fairgrounds, but, you know, I think, you know, I know the car's fast, so if I'm fast enough to keep up with it, we got a good shot to win tonight.
Folks, Chuck Leary is fast. And you know what? Another guy that's been fast in racing for years is our other pit reporter tonight, Johnny Parsons, as he stands by with Tracy Hines.
Okay, thank you, Amy. Yeah, we're here with the fastest qualifier tonight with a real good team, the Willoughby team, Tracy Hines. Tracy, this car, I understand, is brand new. You haven't even tested it, and you go out there and set a quick time with it.
Yeah, you know, Keith and Rusty put a good car in. I mean, Keith just got this thing last Monday and put it together pretty quick for me. It's pretty much a copy of Jay's car, just a little new on the chassis. You know, I just got to thank all the guys, Hoosier Tires, Esslinger Motors running good, you know, Stealth Chassis working, Kiko Coatings, and we got us a new weight jacker on here, Shadow Weight Jacker, Shadow Racing Products. They built a nice weight jacker, and I think, you know, it's going to land a good for a 50-lap race. That's something we can adjust.
That's great. Yeah, it's important during the duration of 50 laps, longer than we usually run. I understand you were in a race earlier today?
Yeah, we were basically, it's what they call like a day with the race, or a day with the racers. Some kids that have difficulties in their life, whether it be cancer or just something that they've had come up in their life, and you know, maybe need a bright spot in their life, and a bunch of racers go out and run with them in go-karts. We just try to make their day happy, and you know, and then if they get over their illness, they'll have many more days to get happier.
Awesome. That's got to make you feel good, too. Now, this car I was watching in the heat race, and, man, you were inside, outside, and you haven't run it that much. You might make a few little adjustments and be even quicker.
Yeah, actually, the car was a little better than it looked. I got sideways air coming out of 4, and I really heated the tires up, and they kind of got a little greasy after that. So I think we'll just do a little fine-tuning and wait for 50 laps.
Was it you that told me if you're not living on the edge, you're not living? Anyway, we're going to look for you to be doing great things in the feature. Tracy, congratulations on quick time. Back to the booth.
Well, it's nice to have JP joining us. It's been a few years since he's been with us here on ESPN, so he'll be covering the pit lane for us. And we're about ready for the second of our 4 heat races. They're lining up on the racetrack right now. We'll take this break and come back with more from Raceway Park.
This is an extraordinary little device, this is. It places your data on a seamless global network, the only global network owned by a single company. Suddenly, Paris, London, Brussels, Dusseldorf are 60 milliseconds away. 60 milliseconds? Now, don't you wish you could travel like that? Be careful what you wish for. OnNet from MCI WorldCom.
Hey, Dad, what are you doing up?
Reliving your mother's stuffed peppers.
Heartburn again, huh? What are you taking?
Tums, and I'm back for more.
You still taking that stuff? Look, Dad, take a Pepsid AC. One tiny pill controls acid all night.
So I can get some sleep.
Next time, take one before dinner, and you can stop heartburn before it starts.
Before it starts?
You don't see me suffering, do you?
What are you guys doing now?
Nothing, dear. We were talking about your peppers.
Peppers, yes.
I got some in the fridge.
You can sleep heartburn-free with Pepsid AC.
Purchase a Wagner cordless power roller $9.49 and receive a free Wall Magic Accent roller kit. Get a Wagner cordless power roller $9.49 and free Wall Magic Accent kit today. Get a Wagner and get it done.
Wherever your kids want to go this summer, there's a Red Roof Inn nearby. Beaches, theme parks at a price that'll make everybody happy, especially you. Well, I'm lost. Anybody got a map? Call 1-800-THE-ROOF, where kids stay free and save money like you mean it.
Don't try this with Gojo or Fast Orange. Only new Castrol Super Clean Hand Cleaner removes dirt and grease without water and without towels. Maybe those other cleaners should throw in the towel. New Super Clean Hand Cleaner.
Here's the lineup for heat race number 2, the inverted start. The fastest on the rear, John Heidenreich and Ryan Scott in the front row. Sarah Fisher, the young lady from Ohio, starts inside the second row with Clay Klepper. AJ Fike and Ricky Shelton in the third row. And John Nervo and Dave Steele, the second fast qualifier, outside of row 4. They come off the corner, pick up the throttle. Watch the young lady in the blue 67.
And she tried to get she did get a great start. She's clear on the inside of Heidenreich, going through turn number 1. She's hanging right in there, side by side. Can't quite pull it up.
The yellow comes back out there. Well, I think maybe she was just too aggressive as she made that move to the inside.
Well, exactly. You're supposed to stay in line until you get to the starting line on the original start. And that was probably a little bit over-aggressive, according to our starter, Billy Shipman. You can see right there, she dropped way down. She got a little bit of a run. Almost pulled it off, though. I mean, that was very aggressive.
Standing up waving in appreciation.
Well, this young lady has been running with the World of Outlaws and the All-Star Sprint cars the last couple of years, so she's no stranger to trying to get the jump on somebody.
And going fast.
That's right.
In fact, 2 weeks ago, she was the fast qualifier for Neymar's race at the Columbus Motor Speedway.
Oh, look at this back here in the back. We missed that. We were watching Sarah Fisher, and we almost had a crash back there as Ricky Shelton
and Dave Steele.
Yeah, they got sideways, almost got into the fence. Did a good job just to catch up with it.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, she was the fast qualifier for that Neymar's race at the Columbus Motor Speedway. Had to go to the back of the pack because of a crash and came back past everybody on the outside and finished 5th. Got a standing ovation. Pulls out just slightly again, and this time the green flag will stay out.
And she's still going to come away in second spot as Ryan Scott, starting outside that front row, fell way back. Ooh, look at this, down on the inside.
Clay Klepper, that silver number 17, 3 wide down the backstretch. Oh, 2 cars get together, and Jason, no, it's Steele. Dave Steele, I started to say Jason Leffler. There are so many white 9s here this evening.
Ryan Scott came down, and I'm not sure exactly whether he came down or Sarah Fisher went up, but they made contact anyway. And David Steele did get into him. It looks like he's going to have to pull into the pit area and make some repairs.
David Steele's had a long month of May so far.
Yeah, this has not been his best month ever in motorsports, that's for sure. He had something break on his Indy car, what caused him to crash there. And right there, you can't tell from that angle exactly what happened, except that Sarah Fisher did run over the left front of Ryan Scott. When she did, she got sideways and he went into the wall.
And she was very lucky not to go on over.
Oh, she was extremely lucky. Maybe we can see better from this angle exactly what happened. Now, you still can't tell.
Scott's as far up on the wall as he can go.
He couldn't go any farther. It just looked like she wasn't aware that he was out there. Maybe she moved up a little bit farther than she had intended to. But either way, Scott's clear up against the outside wall. You can see right there, and she just went over. You're right. She's very fortunate she didn't get upside down. He took a hard hit.
He's fortunate he didn't get upside down.
Exactly. Both cars, hard hits, or he took a hard hit into the wall.
Well, the Bob East, Steve Lewis team going to work on number 9 there to see if there's some problem. Actually, it's 91 for this evening's program. So we'll take this break and come back with more live from Raceway Park.
New grill guard, Steve? I like it.
Thanks, Sally. I got it at Pep Boys. Hey, Sally, how about my chrome rims? Step bars, bug shield, tires, and wheels. Hey, Sally, hear that? Performance exhaust.
Love your car? Save $3 with Pennzoil. Buy 12 quarts of Pennzoil, get $3 back instantly.
Hey, Sally! Sally! Sally moved! Hey, nice tow hitch.
Pep Boys.
Cars like us.
People love us. Come to Circuit City for guaranteed low prices on top brands in every department. Right now, pay no interest for 12 months on all TVs and camcorders $4.99 and up, appliances $3.99 and up, and more. Get this Panasonic 27-inch stereo TV for just $299.99. And this GE 900 megahertz cordless phone for only $29.99. Don't miss the savings in every department. Right now at Circuit City.
There are at least 100 questions every home buyer should ask. Like, how much down payment do I need? Can I buy a $200,000 home with an FHA loan? Do I really need homeowners insurance? Luckily, HUD's FHA has the answers. We've helped 25 million Americans buy a home. Call for our free brochure.
better, more safely. Backed by people driven to exceed your expectations. Come ride with a leader that's taking a new road. International. Delivering beyond the expected.
Welcome back to Indianapolis Raceway Park, where they're working feverishly on the 91 car of Dave Steele, who was involved in that incident. As you can see, they have heavy front end damage. The front bumper went straight into the front rail of the frame, so they'll have to take both left and front tires off, pull out the front axle, and assess exactly how much damage Dave Steele has. Let's remember, he was one of our top qualifiers tonight, and they'll do everything possible to get him into the semi-feature. Back up top.
Well, it's been a tough week for some of the cars that Bob East has been involved with.
Looking at that car, one of the big problems with these pavement cars today is everything is ducted. They try to make everything low, so they duct the air in a special way and up through the radiators. And that's what was messed up in his car. A lot of that ductwork, so the car would not stay very cool during the race. Once again, the 67 car, that's a brand new Drynan car that Sarah Fisher bought. Last year, she was doing very well with the World of Outlaws and Wing Sprint cars around the country. And she told me that we knew that if we wanted to go ahead in motorsports, we had to run pavement. So we decided just to sell all of our sprint car stuff, give all that stuff away, and go try to run pavement cars. And we thought USAC was the best way to do it, so here she is.
The Esslinger power plant in that Drynan Midget for Sarah Fisher out of the state of Ohio. Let's see if she gets another good jump there. She went to the inside of John Heidenreich. Heidenreich moves up high. There's Klepper in the silver number 17.
Yeah, she runs. That's the lowest line I've seen anybody run around here. She almost makes it work, but coming off the corner, you can see you don't get the momentum. And Klepper still, she's still right the side of Klepper. I'm surprised. Klepper seems to be a little bit loose up there.
Look at Klepper on the inside of Heidenreich.
He pinched that thing right down off the bottom. Of course, he's a West Coast driver. Came back here to try to run this series this year after being mostly just West Coast the last couple of years. We got battles everywhere. Klepper makes it in. Look at this. Heidenreich goes right back by him on the inside. Gives that little slide job right up front. We used to call that a San Jose slide job. That was the racetrack that kind of made it famous. But he made it work. And now then, it looks like look at this. They're passing each other 2 and 3 times a lap.
Well, there's A.J. Fike in that black number 69 battling for a 3rd position. Oh, Sarah almost gets into somebody else. That's Shelton, Ricky Shelton in the 90 car on the high side. That purple number 90 almost got together again with Sarah.
Well, Ricky Shelton doing a nice job. You can see that. Look at this now. Once again, Heidenreich trying to get back to the inside of Clay Klepper. He's got a little bit of a push. Klepper's a little loose, and Heidenreich's got a little bit of a push. He cannot turn the car sharp right in the middle of the corner to get underneath him.
There's a look at Sarah Fisher.
As she's dropped back, she's running in 6th spot now, so she's going to have trouble transferring into that main event.
There's Ricky Shelton, the former Western States TQ champion and Western States midget champion. Challenged for the national title last year.
John Nervo now running. He's going to try to get around Heidenreich. Heidenreich has picked up a terrible push in that race car. Look at that. Wheels turn just as hard as he can go to the left, and that thing still just pushes up the racetrack. So Heidenreich now has fallen back to 4th position. That's the last transfer spot.
Well, a race driver has to be smart enough to go to school and the guy in front of him. And Nervo realized was a handling problem with Heidenreich's car and was patient to go on by.
Right now then, Fike, it looks like he's going to get down to the inside. He's smoking the right rear. One of them smoking the right front, the other one smoking the right rear, but it looks like the right rear smoker wins.
Would you rather smoke a right rear than a right front?
Usually that's the case. And he just went right on around Heidenreich. Heidenreich just cannot turn the car. You can see him running through the corner. That thing cocked full left turn and just will not turn.
Oh, Clay Klepper out in front will take the white flag. So let's see what Ricky Shelton might have for him. See if he has some kind of move like Drynan had that we saw earlier.
Well, you can see both of those cars smoking the right rears a little bit. So evidently they're running a fairly soft tire in this race. They don't want to have the car set up like that, smoking the right rears in a 50-lap race. Or neither. Look at that, both of them smoking the right rear.
So Klepper hangs on for the victory. Ricky Shelton goes 2nd.
Yeah, John Nervo actually came home in 3rd spot, so he did a good job. He had a great qualifying time. If everything goes according to what it has, he should start on the pole for the feature event.
So Nervo was 3rd, A.J. Fike was 4th. So those 4 will transfer. So we'll see Sarah Fisher in her effort to transfer out of the semi.
Here's how you can more than double your current life insurance coverage without paying 1 penny more than you are now. Call Best Quote. We'll prepare a free rate comparison of 5 top-rated term life policies that meet your specific needs. Here's a sampling of the huge savings Best Quote has recently uncovered. If that's less than you're currently paying, call Best Quote today for your free rate comparison. There's no obligations and no hassles. Simply the best insurance at the best rates from Best Quote. No salesperson will ever call you.
Suffering from the I've had it with the everyday life blues?
We got a full tank of gas, 3 bottles of suntan lotion, and we're wearing sunglasses.
Hit it! Then it's time you escape to Daytona Beach. There's 23 miles of sunny shores, as well as Daytona, USA. Golf, fishing, plus Central Florida's top attractions are all within an hour's drive. To find out more about all there is to see and do at Daytona Beach, call for a free visitor's guide. Daytona Beach, big beach, big fun.
With the year 2000 approaching, we're trying to make sure the software here at Sports Center is Y2K compliant.
Y2K test in 3, 2, 1.
Oops.
More from the NBA and an NFL trade right after this.
We definitely have a few bugs to work out, but we'll be ready.
Follow me! Follow me to freedom!
A look at the results from heat race number 2. The Florida transfer, Klepper, Shelton, Nervo, and Fike. But an ominous view behind that Larry Rice. How many times here on Thunder have we seen a full moon? And guys and gals get crazy with a full moon.
It seems to be true. I hope it isn't true tonight, but it has proven to be true in the past that the full moon was meant a lot of crashing.
Amy is with our winner.
Clay Klepper, you did an excellent job there winning this heat race. You jumped out to a nice lead, although you had Ricky Shelton coming up right behind you. How hard were you running the car? Because we saw a little bit of smoke coming from your right rear there at the end.
We were actually real loose there. We were real tight earlier, and we figured when the sun went down, we'd get tighter, so we loosened it up and actually went too much. And I knew Shelton and Steele, them guys would be really fast, probably on me pretty quick, so I just tried to get out front and get out as far as I could.
Well, to get out front, you had a little bit of battle on your hands there. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, Johnny, he really wanted to win really bad. I tried to take it easy on the tires, and he kept pushing me, so I figured, well, I better push it too. So we did, and then luckily we sneaked by with the win.
Well, for your sponsors and for everyone involved, everyone knows how important it is to win here on Thunder, and that's why Johnny was racing you so hard. So good luck to you, Clay, in tonight's feature.
Thanks a lot. I just want to thank all my sponsors, Seat Services Incorporated, Indy Custom Machine, and Lucas Oil Company, iBuck Springs. They're all behind me. Hoosier Tire had good tires, so hopefully we'll do good next time, too.
Sounds good. And Johnny Parsons is with someone who qualified exceptionally well tonight. Johnny?
Yes, we're here with John Nervo. John, very good job qualifying. Nobody likes to hear that they were a surprise, but you did a great job. And you, by finishing the top 4 of that race, you qualified for the pole, buddy. You're going to be starting this 50-lapper tonight for the pole. That car looks good. Can you make it any better?
Yeah, we're going to work on a few changes. I think we need to, we're going to work on loosening the car up. We got a 50-lap feature ahead. So, you know, obviously the car's going to get tight, so we got to look into loosening this car up. We may even change a little bit of gear, give it, you know, crank up the motor a little bit, help us on the start.
Okay, buddy, we wish you the best of luck. We got to take it upstairs.
All right, thanks.
Well, of course, if all 6 of the top qualifiers make it to the feature, then he would be on the pole. So they invert the fastest 6, but he's going to have a good starting spot for this 50-lapper, a youngster that can make a great impression with a good win here at Raceway Park.
Hey, man, how come every time I call you, you're on the phone? Who are you talking to?
My friends, family. I call them a lot since I don't get to see them that much.
Phone bills must be killing you.
Not at all. I dial 10-10-321. Saves me 50% on calls over 10 minutes.
And when you're talking with family and friends, you just know you're going to be on for a while.
Sounds good. My wife's on the phone all the time with her sister. Hey, man, am I ever going to get to shoot?
Not when you're playing against me.
Whether you're working out, working hard, or making changes, one thing is for certain. Centrum has your nutrition needs covered. With Centrum, you benefit from what science is discovering about how vitamins and minerals help maintain health, unlock energy, and strengthen immunity. Centrum, always complete from A to Zinc. And Centrum Kids' great new taste is making a splash with new fruit flavors kids love.
Father Rick, this is Peter Gammons calling you about the letter. I did not have the time or the lack of decency to ask Tony Gwynn to send you the kidney stone he passed in '97. But thanks for reading my column.
Back live at the annual Budweiser Night Before the 500 Midget Race from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Gary Lee alongside Larry Rice here in the broadcast booth with Amy East and Johnny Parsons down in the pit area as we take a look now at the starting lineup for heat race number 3. Travis Wellpott and Nick Lundgren occupy the front row. In row 2, it's Michael Lewis and Steve Barth. In the third row, it's Jay Drake and David Goff. And in the fourth row, it's Ryan Newman. Newman, the third quick qualifier. Ryan, of course, was victorious 1 week ago here at Raceway Park in the Silver Bullet race and went fourth in that race last night, so he does have the points lead.
Well, he's a very talented young man. I can remember his father called me several years ago, and he was only 15 years old, I think. They wanted to buy a midget, and I put him in contact with a gentleman out in Colorado that was trying to get out of the business back then. It was a Volkswagen midget. He ran it a few years with Neymar and then graduated to USAC. Obviously, he's become a great talent.
Won 2 midget championships up in the state of Michigan as a 15-year-old. Just finished his junior year at Purdue University. He's in engineering. And there's Jay Drake from the West Coast, who now resides in Indianapolis during the racing season, a former Western States midget champion. Had the unfortunate task of smacking the wall last day. He was a third fast qualifier in the Silver Bullet race in the state fairgrounds here in Indianapolis, but got over the cushion and found the wall.
He's a teammate with Tracy Hines.
There's a drag race off the corner down the straightaway as they scramble for position. Keep an eye on the back of the pack. And look at Ryan Newman down on the inside in that white number 39.
Travis Wellpott got a good jump. He has the lead, but right now, Ryan Newman, that's the Sarah Fisher line right down on the bottom of the racetrack.
He's making it work for him.
Yeah, he did. And what he did, though, instead of running him all the way around, once he got around the 85 car, Michael Lewis, he slid up into more what is the groove on the racetrack. But it's been a while since I've seen anybody run that far down on this racetrack.
And he almost made it 3 wide there. Has to be very, very careful when they go 3 wide in the corner. Almost contact right there. He keeps his foot in it, stays down low, picks up a position, goes to third.
Wellpott in that bright orange car hangs on to second place, but Ryan Newman, we got 3 abreast right there. Jay Drake tried to sneak by down on the inside. But Michael Lewis could not make that work, though.
That's Nick Lundgren in the black 49 car. And he gets past for position. Now here's Ryan Newman trying to work the...
That's the high side. That's Steve Barth that he's trying to get around in the Ralph Potter machine, and it looks like he got around him. What happened there? Barth got up there and he got that right rear tire smoking. Now what he's going to have to do is he's going to have to back out of the throttle and take it easy on that right rear. If he smokes it a couple more laps like that, it's going to get real greasy, and he's going to slow up and give all those guys behind him a heck of a chance to get around.
There's a battle for transfer position as Jay Drake now goes to 4th position, challenges and goes by for 3rd. So Wellpott drops to 4th, and he's just in jeopardy of getting past.
Yeah, because Michael Lewis in that red number 85 car all over Wellpott right now, trying to find a way to get around. Both of them are very much aware that that's the transfer spot, and both of them want it.
Well, Travis Wellpott, a graduate of TQ midget racing, and Michael Lewis came out of quarter midgets, right, 2 full-size midgets, and that's the battle for 4th.
Right now, Michael Lewis is just looking. He looked inside. He's tried to go under him a couple of different times. So far, he hasn't been able to do anything with him. But look at this. Right now, Drake has gotten around Barth, so he's now moved into 2nd spot.
Still a battle for the 4th and final transfer position.
Side by side all the way through the corner. Travis Wellpott really has the preferred line up there a little bit higher on the racetrack. What you really try to do and what you need to do, and if you're a real veteran of running this place, is do what Danny Drynan did. You need to lay back, you need to get a run and get up alongside of a guy and just blow by him getting into the corner. It's not as easy to do as it used to be. But now look at this. Lundgren, after falling way back.
Look at him smoke that right rear.
Yep, and see, that's what happens. He fell back, he cooled down the tire, and then all of a sudden he was a lot faster. Now that he smoked it again, and he's probably going to slow.
Hang on, as Lewis tries that low line. They're coming out with the checkered flag. Who's going to be 4th? Whoa, well, Lewis took 4th position, but that was the best battle on the racetrack.
Now, that was Wellpott in 4th. Lewis was trying to get around him. Lewis was in 5th,
so
trying to get around.
Did take 4th.
So Travis Wellpott hung on to that 4th and final transfer spot.
So Ryan Newman takes the win Then the 97 car of Jay Drake went second. The third of 6, Steve Barth, was third. And the fourth, as you indicated, Travis Wellpott rounds out the top 4.
Buy any Tacoma truck, and you can get packages of our most popular options discounted up to $2,400.
Some people say clear coat cars don't need wax. Clear coat's thinner than the piece of paper. So what protects the clear coat? New Turtle Wax Emerald Series car wax.
Waxing with Emerald Series puts down 4 times the Carnauba wax as the #1 brand, with no powdery residue.
Do your best wax job ever. Turtle Wax Emerald Series.
Emerald Series is the best hard shell finish. Turtle Wax.
For a quick touch-up between wax jobs, get new Emerald Series Premium Detailer.
Working on my car more myself these days saves me money and keeps it running like I like. Performance is important to me, and that includes the cleanup. Scott shop towels on a roll give me the performance of cloth at a fraction of the cost of these. And Scott shop towels on a roll are so strong, I can use them again and again. So, no matter what it is you're working on, buy some Scott shop towels on a roll where you buy auto supplies. Performance of a cloth at a fraction of the cost.
When precision, quality, and speed count, depend on Craftsman. When you need the power of a wrench with the speed of a ratchet, reach for the Craftsman Quick Wrench. The Craftsman Quick Wrench's unique open-end design lets you ratchet around fasteners. There's no need to reposition. Every quick wrench is up to 30% longer than conventional wrenches. That means extra leverage, more torque, and extended reach for tight spaces. Like other Craftsman hand tools, the Quick Wrench is guaranteed forever. Craftsman makes anything possible.
Well, there's a good look at the new grandstand, the VIP suites, and the press box here in Indianapolis Raceway Park. Ryan Newman, one of the drivers that we have highlighted as a hot shoe and an up-and-comer in USAC competition, takes the win over a former Western States Midget champion, Jay Drake. Steve Barth and Travis Wellpott ran out of the top 4, and they transfer Michael Lewis. Had a good run at it, but he'll have to go through the semi. And, Amy, you have the youngster we've talked so much about the last week or so.
Ryan has been doing an excellent job in the USAC ranks, and you got off to a great start in that heat race, but you have quite a unique line around Raceway Park, very, very low. Is that going to be where you're going to run in the 50-lap feature tonight?
Well, when you got 6 cars starting in front of you, you have to go where they're not, and that left the low line open. So my first opportunity was to go low, and luckily I think things bunched up on the high side a little bit, and I got a pretty good start. And I think it took us 3 laps to get to the front, and I don't know what our lead was at the end, but the car felt pretty comfortable. The dry-in chassis is working great. We qualified 3rd, and just got to get just a little bit faster for the race.
You made some great passes, and in the previous heat races, we saw when there was cars that tried to make passes very quickly like that, they were smoking the right rear. No tire smoke from your tires, and looking at them when you pulled in here, they're in excellent shape. Why is your car have such a stable setting here at IRP?
Well, if you notice, a lot of cars lift the left front tire, and that just shows an imbalance in the race car. And you got 4 tires in the race car, and the dry-in race car utilizes all 4 corners, and that helps keep the right rear tire temperature down, and that just shows that, you know, the 50-lap race, how important it is to keep your right rear tire cool.
Okay, we'll be watching that right rear as Ryan works his way up through the field in the 50-lap feature, and Johnny Parsons is standing by with Jay Drake.
Boy, it's busy here in the Willoughby pit. We're in Pete's way. He was loosening the left rear, but good job, Jay. You brought it up from the back. Car looks good. I saw you 2 blondes, your teammate Tracy Hines, and you getting your heads together. Is that scary or what? You guys talking about gears or what?
Well, yeah, that among some other things. You know, that's the nice part about having a good competitive teammate is you can put your heads together after a heat race like that, and he can tell me what his car was doing, and I can tell him what mine was doing. We can try to convey it back to the mechanics and tell us what we want. You know, we had a pretty good car there in the heat race. We had a tire shrinking on us a little bit, so the car got a little tight, but I just grabbed a hold of our new Shadow weight jacker there and cranked some weight back into it and got us back up there, and we ran well.
Well, you ran well, and we would expect that from you, Jay. Good job. We're going to go back to the booth. Thank you.
Look at some of the folks that have come out here on what has been a beautiful day here in central Indiana, and we hope we have a great day just like this in about 10 days when we head off to the legendary Winchester Speedway in Winchester, Indiana. Our next ESPN2 Thunder Show, the USAC Stoops Freightliner Sprint Cars on June the 9th.
I've won my share of races, but I didn't do it alone. It takes a great team. And Slick 50 is a part of my team. I'm one of the millions of people who rely on it.
Now there's Slick 50 Synchron synthetic engine treatment with a 100,000-mile limited warranty and pour and drive convenience.
It's hard to beat Slick 50. I count on that.
Slick 50 Synchron synthetic, the next generation of engine treatments.
And for peak performance, use Slick 50 Synchron synthetic fuel system treatment.
Hey, Dad, what are you doing up?
Reliving your mother's stuffed peppers.
Heartburn again, huh? What are you taking?
Tums, and I'm back for more.
You still taking that stuff? Look, Dad, take a Pepsid AC. One tiny pill controls acid all night.
So I can get some sleep.
Next time, take one before dinner, and you can stop heartburn before it starts.
Before it starts?
You don't see me suffering, do you?
What are you guys doing now?
Nothing, dear. We were talking about your peppers.
Peppers, yeah. I got some in the fridge.
You can sleep heartburn-free with Pepsid AC.
Rust-resistant bodies, rock-solid frames, superior warranties, reliable ignition, and the best cooking systems on Earth. These are the beautiful grills, beautifully built by Charbroil.
I can almost taste it.
Tonight from Indianapolis Raceway Park, it's the night before the 500 USAC Midget Race, brought to you by Charbroil. See leading retailers for beautiful grills, beautifully built by Charbroil. Ready now for the lineup for heat race number 4, the 4th and final heat race. If you can't make it here, you go through the last chance for the semi. In the front row, another young lady, Sarah McCune. On the pole next to Wayne Chin. The second row, Rick Treadway alongside Robbie Parrish. Then it's A.J. Davis and Dave Darlin. In the fourth row, Brian Gerster and Jason Leffler.
Well, this ought to be a very tough heat race, as all of them have been so far. Back there in the third row in that 128 car is A.J. Davis. He's the tire manager for Scott Goodyear tomorrow at the Indianapolis 500. His job is to make sure the right tires are put on when they come in for each pit stop. And we're riding
this shot.
Here. Yeah, riding along with Dave Darlin.
Give us a wave, Dave, although he can't hear us, can he? He's not hooked up with us.
But
Dave was leading that Silver Bullet race last night and had the engine expire on his Foxco Franklin Power entry.
Yeah, and he should give us a good ride. He's the only one on that team that's healthy at the moment. All the rest of them are all banged up.
Walking wounded. Dave Darlin, a former Silver Bullet titleist. As you look back at his teammate and that Steve Lewis, well, they've got a trio of cars here this evening. That's look at Dave Darlin. He's in the 9X. There's the 9 car, Jason Leffler, and the 91 of David Steele, we saw earlier.
Yeah, this is going to be a very, very tough heat race. Brian Gerster in that 7X car, that black car, and the inside of the last row. He's a great pavement racer.
And that's a brand new chassis. That is the Predator chassis built by Kenny Irwin Sr. He has a new shop out on the south side of Indianapolis, out in the Beech Grove area. In fact, there are 2 Predators in this race. Robbie Parrish has the other one, number 70.
I think there are 15 Beasts here, 13 Stealths, 10 Drynens, 8 Hawks, and 2 Predators along with some others.
Well, Sarah McCune, the young lady, brings them off the turn down the straightaway. And look at that move to the inside by Robbie Parrish in that black number 70, the Gil Pritt-owned Predator. Wayne Chin, who's a regular with the Neymar's organization, leads the parade down the backstretch. And look at Dave Darlin up to third already.
Yeah, Sarah McCune must have some sort of a problem. She went from first to about 5th or 6th in one straightaway.
Watch the steering wheel. Short wheelbase. They're always trying to stay on top of the race car here on a big racetrack like Raceway Park.
Well, midgets are the hardest thing to drive here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. The short wheelbase just means that you've got to be steering that thing all the time. You can see Dave Darlin right there. He didn't rest for a minute as he was going through the corner, but it paid off because he's taking the lead.
So Wayne Chin drops to second into the grasp of the 70 car of Robbie Parrish. Parrish looks to the inside. Oh, look at this move on the inside.
Wow, you can see right there.
A.J. Davis trying to make it 3 wide. A.J. back in the 4th position, so he has a big day in store for him tomorrow.
Oh, Chin got a real sideways coming off the 4. Had to get out of the throttle, let Parrish by, and let A.J. Davis at least get up beside him. Now he's going to take the spot away.
Jay Davis, working for that Panther Pennzoil team, asked me one of the favorite teams to do well tomorrow in the Indianapolis 500. There's Rick Treadway giving us some onboard camera shots down the backstretch into turn 3.
Yeah, and he's running in 6th position right now. That's Jason Leffler right in front of him. It looks like Jason Leffler has just now moved into the final transfer spot.
Leffler, as we documented earlier, is driving hurt this evening. Oh, a car hard in the wall. That's Robbie Parrish. Parrish, I'm not sure if he did it on his own. Oh, another car involved, Dave Darlin.
Dave Darlin leading. Something must have happened. Somebody must have spilled some liquid up there because all 3 of those cars spun. I think Dave Darlin was leading the race when he spun. So I'd be very surprised if there wasn't some sort of liquid spilled up there for all 3 of those guys to get mixed up in that. Tough break for all of those guys.
Treadway car in 88.
Treadway, Parrish, and Dave Darlin.
Apparently the 7 car blew the engine in turn 2. The 7 car blew the engine, may have lost some oil, made the track very slick, and then that was the aftermath.
Well, I was going to be very surprised if something like that didn't happen. You don't have 3 good race car drivers like that go down in the corner and just all of a sudden spin out for no good reason. And you can see quite a bit of liquid down underneath that car.
Look at Gerster and the apparatus he is wearing behind his helmet.
Yeah, that's an apparatus. He broke his neck last year, and it was very severely broken. He had to wear a halo for a few months. So now that he always wears that apparatus that protects his neck. Now let's take a look here as they're heading through the corner. You can see up the, oh, Parrish hit the wall very hard. Darlin spun farther down the racetrack, and Treadway cut down trying to miss it.
From inside the Treadway car down the front stretch. It all happens in turn 2.
Treadway's caught at the bottom, but you can see the 2 cars up there, and he was right up in the oil too. He got in the same oil the other 2 did. He spun. He was just a little luckier as he spun down to the inside of the racetrack and didn't hit anything.
There is Parrish. He is out of car number 70. He is all right. You saw the leader, Dave Darlin, loop it coming through the oil in turn 2, and then the Treadway camera car also looped it. So we're under yellow once again here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, the annual night before the 500.
When precision, quality, and speed count, depend on Craftsman. When you need the power of a wrench with the speed of a ratchet, reach for the Craftsman Quick Wrench. The Craftsman Quick Wrench's unique open-end design lets you ratchet around fasteners. There's no need to reposition. Every quick wrench is up to 30% longer than conventional wrenches. That means extra leverage, more torque, and extended reach for tight spaces. Like other Craftsman hand tools, the Quick Wrench is guaranteed forever. Craftsman makes anything possible.
You know, ideas and inventions come from people in all walks of life. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? If so, Invention Submission Corporation has information to help you get started. ISC is America's largest inventor service firm. Call now and learn how to submit your idea to companies through ISC's data bank and apply for a patent. Even if your idea is just to improve an existing product, call for ISC's free information.
For your inventor's information, call 1-800-652-0101.
Well, back to a live shot of what I think the problem is. Now, I know folks are going to debunk this, but every time we are on the air and there is a full moon, it is a long night of unusual occurrences. Crashes, goofy driving.
Well, and how many times have you seen, I mean, you can usually see the oil, but all 3 of those guys drove down in there, didn't see the oil, all 3 of them spun. And that oil had been laid down the lap before as he blew that engine the lap prior.
Well, he loses the left rear tire. A tough night for Dave Darlin. Last night was a tough night. As we mentioned earlier, it was a real tough night for series champion Jason Leffler, who crashed in practice and was unable to compete. It was also a rough night for Tracy Hines, the black 37. The IRP runner-up just last week crashed in practice. Then in the last chance race, got together with Mike Mosley Jr. in turn 1. ending their evenings. Frustration being shown here as Mosley throws the steering wheel from the cockpit of the red 33. Fast qualifier on the pole, Jimmy Sills, Dave Darwin alongside. An enthusiastic crowd of over 10,000 people at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. On the start, it was Jimmy Sills jumping out to the lead. He would pace the first 16 circuits. Third fast qualifier Jay Drake's night came to an early end when he found the turn 3 fence. At the same time, Jimmy Stinson got upside down in turn 2. Both drivers were okay. On the restart, Darwin got around Sills for the top spot. He would lead through lap 50. Derek Davidson and Kevin Thomas got together, sending Thomas hard to the outside wall. The car badly damaged, but he was okay. At the same time, the leader Darwin's engine expired on fire, ending his night. While Sills was a dominant driver after that halfway mark, Russ Gamester made a run at the final lap, but came up just short, as the series' only 3-time champion became the 4th different winner in the first 4 Silver Bullet races this season. Good crowd last night, a great crowd this evening here at Raceway Park as we remain under yellow after that, well, 3-car melee up there in the corner. This is what happened first to Dave Darwin, the leader, as he hits the oil.
You can see that black spot on the racetrack. He got in that oil. He just backed her into the wall with the left rear, tore the left rear off of the car. You can tell it's hurting because you can see all the sparks flying out.
And he took the long walk back to the infield, and he's with Amy East.
Dave, did you have any idea that you were sneaking up on that oil and tried to avoid it, or did it instantly just get wrapped around right on you?
Yeah, I didn't have any warning. It was, I went down the straightaway, and there was no oil on the straightaway. And right when I got into the turn, just before I hit it, I seen it coming up, and I was hoping it wasn't what it looked like, and it was. Just, when you get into the corner that hard, and then there's oil there, there's not much you can do. And the car just got loose, and I backed it into the wall with the left side. I'm not sure if the damage I'm not sure if we can be ready for the B main or not. But the boys are working on it pretty hard, and the Ed Pink Ford was running good, and the Beast chassis, everything was working perfect, and just unfortunate that that happened.
Hopefully they'll be able to get all this work fixed out before the semi. As we saw with Dave Steele, they were changing the front end assembly. Now with Dave Darlin, they're working on the left rear. You can see here as the crew members disassemble a bird cage that's just been ripped in half. So that shows you right there the heavy impact that the left rear of the number 9X took tonight.
You got to be impressed with Amy. How many gals her age would know what a bird cage is?
I know what it is. It's got little wires and birds inside.
No. Once again, my question is, did Bob East bring in enough crew members this evening? Let's go down and check with Robbie Parrish.
Okay, Robbie Parrish, you were in the accident. Man, you hit that a ton. You all right?
Yeah, I just knocked the knees a little bit. Apparently, I had thought maybe we blew a motor up or something like that, but apparently someone had blown oil on the track, and I got into it along with a few others behind me. I was fortunate that we didn't really tear a lot of things up. We might be able to get this fixed.
I hope so. We sure hope so. You were fast, and we is unfortunately your teammate over here. Brian Gerstner's even helping him work on it, trying to find that oil. Your car was fast, looking good. Best of luck to you. Back to the booth, Gary.
There's A.J. Davis will be on the point for the restart. Leffler up to second, Wayne Chin third, Sarah McCune is fourth, and Rick Treadway gets restarted after that little melee in there in turn 2, and he'll be back in the 5th spot, but only 4 will transfer.
Yeah, it's going to be a little easier to transfer through this race than it has been most of them because of the attrition. But right now, Sarah McCune has got, she just got past already. Rick Treadway got around Sarah McCune. And you can see that oil dry up there, the running through, and everybody's a little nervous because you don't know how much oil and how slick that is when you run through it.
It's a bit disconcerting when you're following someone. They kick all that dust up, and you're not really sure just how secure that racetrack is.
Now, believe me, that stuff does get in your eyes. That burns, you know, even through your mask and through your face shield and your helmet. Some of it can get in there, and it's pretty gritty, and it's not a very pleasant feeling for the first couple of laps.
I wonder what Rick Treadway's assignment will be tomorrow, because his dad owns the team that will start from the pole position with Ari Lyondike, Treadway Racing.
I don't know, but I know that whole team is very high on what's happening here this month. Sam Schmidt and Ari Lyondike both had a great month out there at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and that whole team's looking forward to it.
And of course, Ari will remain a great ambassador for the sport, despite the fact that he will end his illustrious racing career at the conclusion of the race tomorrow. Back up in front, we're going to have a battle for the win here as Jason starts to close in on the white flag lap.
And A.J. Davis has done a nice job. He's led this race ever since this crash. So far, he's been able to hold off Jason Leffler. Jason Leffler's not a slow guy. He's one of the fastest guys at Indianapolis Raceway Park. And Leffler's not going to give it to him. He's going to give him a shot.
Yeah, he's going to run out of time, I do believe. Smokes that right rear, but AJ takes the victory, and Jason goes to second position. So at least one of those white 9s will come in without some damage on it this time.
Yeah, he's about the only one so far that hasn't come in with some sort of a ding. So it's been a tough night for those guys. But A.J. Davis does a very nice job, brings home the victory, and I think he's going to be very happy. And Margaret Owens is going to be a very happy car owner.
So once again, Davis takes the victory. Jason Leffler goes second. Treadway was able to get by Sarah McCune to take that fourth and final transfer position. Wayne Chin also transfers in number 71.
Time to paint? Head to Sears Big Paint Sale, featuring all weather beater, like our best satin, only $15.99. Need interior paint? So try this Sears Easy Living, only $9.99. Now's the time to paint, because with any 2 gallons, you get $2 off a Craftsman tool. Sears Big Paint Sale. Don't miss it.
Today's cars brake better than ever, but it's up to your tires to translate these advances into stopping power on the road. The Firestone FT70C uses Unity technology to help your car stop when the rain starts. So if you're not driving on FT70C tires with Unity, what's stopping you? The Firestone FT70C with Unity Ultimate Tire Technology, built to stop in the wet.
Buy 4 Firestone tires with Unity and get a $35 gift certificate from Target stores.
Today there are over 300 Red Roof Inns. We've renovated our rooms, brighter colors, better fixtures, but kept our rates as affordable as ever. How do we do it? Cheap commercials. Call 1-800-THE-ROOF and save money like you mean it.
Don't try this with Gojo or Fast Orange. Only new Castrol Super Clean Hand Cleaner removes dirt and grease without water and without towels. Maybe those other cleaners should throw in the towel. New Super Clean Hand Cleaner.
My first free kick goal, and it was me versus Tony Miola. I remember as soon as I let it go, it felt just right. I beat Tony. I just remember running for the sidelines, jumping as high as I can. I'm Eddie Lewis. Have you seen me?
See him Thursday at 10:30 on ESPN2.
As you look at the results over the skyline of downtown Indianapolis that hosted the annual 500 Festival Parade this afternoon and will host a huge event here tomorrow. So once again, A.J. Davis takes the victory. And Amy, why don't you find out what his assignment's going to be tomorrow?
Okay, I think that'll be the first question I ask him. AJ, you're going to race tonight. You're going to go home and get up really early tomorrow morning. What are you going to do for the Pennzoil Panther team?
I'm the guy that's in charge of all the tires that go over the wall. I take care of all the staggers and air pressures, and I might just stay up all night tonight if we run good, so we'll see how things go.
Well, I don't know if Scott Goodyear would want you to stay up all night, because I think getting a little rest might help your performance tomorrow. But let's talk about this win here in this heat race. You did an excellent job. Anything that you think you might change to the car before you get ready for the 50-lap feature?
I think once they blow the track off, well, car would be pretty good, but another car seemed to be real good, and it's the best it's ever been here, so pretty happy with it right now.
All right, good luck. And Johnny Parsons has Jason Leffler.
Hey, we're here with Jason Leffler, and Jason, I was just talking to him about the oil dry down there. What do you think?
It was pretty bad. I was just wondering, you know, who made the call to restart that race, because it was ridiculous. They're putting a price on someone's life out there. But, you know, other than that, everything went well. We transferred to the feature, so, you know, we're just getting there and getting a rhythm and go.
Hey, you think that accident last night might have made you a little bit nervous today, because that was a hard hit. Let's see your wrist. Is this pain blocked out, or are you doing okay?
No, I'm doing okay. It's just kind of awkward, you know. Yeah. I don't have any problems other than I can't hold on to the steering wheel. No. Everything's going good, so I don't feel the pain out there, so I'm doing all right.
Well, maybe Bobby used to put a Brody knob on there for you, but you got to have a good chance to win this feature, don't you think?
Yeah, we're getting rhythm. You know, the Team ASC Ford Beast is working great, so just got to thank Steve Lewis, Performance Racing Industry.
Great. Best of luck to you. Back up to the booth, Gary.
I like a driver that is very honest when you ask him a question, and obviously he did not think they should be out there racing until they did some more work over in turn 2.
Yeah, you know, he says everything's okay except I can't hang on to the steering wheel. That's kind of like saying I can see fine except I'm blind in one eye and can't see out of the other one.
Hey, we've had some few race drivers that drove like that couldn't see out of one eye.
Wow.
Well, after the Indy cars completed their carburation day practice on Thursday, the USAC MCI WorldCom National Midgets hit the dirt just down the road at 16th Street Speedway. 61 drivers showed up for the track's season opener. It turned out to be a roller coaster ride for points leader Jason Leffler. In qualifying, he's at a new one-lap track record of 11.78 seconds. In the first heat race, Leffler was battling Clay Klepper for third when the two made contact coming out of turn one, putting Klepper into the wall. In that same heat, Leffler got loose and spun, trying to pass Ron Smoker, pinning John Wolf against the wall. A frustrated Leffler finished fifth and would have to race in the semi. Another driver relegated to the semi was Tracy Hines. Here he is flipping in turn two during his third heat. Semi was also very eventful. This pileup involved Mike Roselli, Dave Darwin, Johnny Parsons, and Wolf. Dennis Mann also got caught up. He flipped and landed in the grass. Dennis was uninjured. Farrell Olsen continued the aerial show on Thursday in the semi with this flip in turn two. He also walked away unscathed. Australian Adam Clark was on the pole for the 40-lap main event and led the 20-car field to the first turn. Jerry Coons Jr. in yellow caught up to Clark early in the race and appeared to take the top spot with this pass in turn one. But Leffler was upside down on the front stretch. That brought out the caution. Clark was able to retain the lead. Leffler's team made the necessary repairs, and Jason returned to finish seventh. Up front, Coons, Clark, Smoker, and the 32 of Ricky Shelton had a spirited battle for the lead, with Coons eventually taking the point from Shelton. Shelton and Smoker battled side by side for second until Shelton got loose in turn three. Ricky saved it and managed to come home in fifth. Coons led the final 24 laps to pick up his first USAC MCI World Cup National Midget win this season. You know, as a race fan, you think, wow, the guy won a championship. Everything is going great. This has been a lousy week for Jason. I mean, no one is showing any respect to the champion, defending champion in the Midgets and the Silver Bullet Series.
If you just watched our highlights from Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and tonight's races, you'd think nobody did anything but crash. But we've actually had some terrific racing back here, but it did have its share of bent equipment along the way.
Well, speaking of some terrific racing, we have some great racing coming up. The Coca-Cola Family 200 next Saturday, the NASCAR Craftsman Trucks. And for more information, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. All right, we're ready for the semi coming up next from Indianapolis Raceway Park.
This is an extraordinary little device, this is. It places your data on a seamless global network, the only global network owned by a single company. Suddenly, Paris, London, Brussels, Dusseldorf are 60 milliseconds away. 60 milliseconds. Now, don't you wish you could travel like that? Be careful what you wish for. On Net from MCI WorldCom.
Transmission.
Is that bad?
If you're not asking for a Wins transmission flush, you're asking for trouble.
That's good.
Wins, for longer life and better performance. Call for the Wins dealer nearest you.
This man here has just heard a funny noise. Not ha-ha funny, but click-click funny. Now, he thinks he knows what's wrong, but he's not sure. It's our job at Advanced Auto Parts to help him figure out what's wrong, to get him the parts he needs, and to turn that frown upside down.
For everyone who'd rather do it themselves. For these magnificent do-it-yourselfers, we make the versatile line of Wagner Power Painters. With power to handle today's thicker one-coat latex paints. An attachment that draws paint right from the can to paint straight up or down, and simple electronic settings to spray as wide or as narrow as this, which makes you more incredible than ever. If it needs painting, staining, or sealing, the choice is easy. Get a Wagner and get it done.
Well, much of the action right now is back in the pit area, getting ready for this semi from Indianapolis Raceway Park, the 53rd running of the annual night before the 500. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Lee alongside Larry Rice. You know, with 3 championships in your career, you never did all that well in this race.
No, I really didn't. This was a very tough race, though. Everybody comes in. I think there's drivers from 8 or 9 states here.
I mean, they all bring all the big guns. The California guys come back because they all want to win. This is a very prestigious
And talk about some guys that have won. Kenny Schrader, Mike Bliss, Jeff Gordon, two-time winner. A couple of past winners in this evening show. David Steele won last year. Ryan Newman a couple of years ago. It's been a tough night so far for some of these drivers, though.
Been a terrible night. Some of the guys, we've seen some crashes all night long. It seems like it's just been a tough night. But first thing out, though, Tracy Hines got kind of back on track after having all those crashes and all that trouble last night. He had an extremely smooth lap. He got that stealth car around this racetrack in fast time, and nobody even came close to him. Then in the non-qualifiers race, we had cars on the very first lap get together. We ended up with Davenport getting upside down. We had 3 cars at least out of the race, couldn't continue. Then Sarah Fisher gets together with another car. He gets up into the fence. He backs the thing in there very hard, and David Steele got into that mess and also had to fall out of the race. Then in heat number 4, of course, that's where all the oil was spilled onto the racetrack. Dave Darland into the wall. This is Rick Treadway we're riding along with. He spins, he misses everything, but Robbie Parrish also ended up in the fence up there.
Well, once again, as you take a look, there is Dave Darland, who was leading the race at the time.
Yeah, this is just another look at that thing. We were riding along. Now then we're looking from another angle at Dave Darland.
Top 6 qualifiers. Again, Tracy Hines, last year's winner Dave Steele, then Ryan Newman, Jason Leffler, Danny Drynan, his first ride back after his serious burns in Orlando, and John Nervo. We talked about all the activity down in the pit lane. The busiest crew right now probably is Bob East and Steve Lewis and company. Here's Amy.
You're exactly right, Gary, and this is the Band-Aid black duct tape and white duct tape that they put on the 91. They did not change front end assembly as I had expected, but everything is just about bent right through the drive line on the 91. Dave Steele, he's ready for the semi. The 9X of Dave Darland, they've just about got him back together. We saw a broken bird cage earlier. This is one that's all back together. This is how it's supposed to look as crew chief Kelly Drake is trying to get the left rear of Dave Darland's car ready so that both these teammates can be out in the semi. Johnny Parsons, you've got one of the ladies out here tonight.
Yeah, we sure do, and the lady is really fast. Sarah Fisher, we know she had problems. You got 1 qualifying lap in. Your first one was pretty quick. I'm sure your second one would have been better. And what was the problem?
Well, we had an oil line come off, and, I was a little worried that I didn't want to blow my motor, so I got 1 good lap in, and, I pulled it in after that because I didn't want to ruin anything for later in the evening. But, I got 1 good lap in and just a little worried, so I pulled her on in. But we're not satisfied for what happened. We'd really like to help Mead out because they've helped us out, and it's hard to run fast with these guys, but we're trying. It's only our 4th night in the car, so it's hard to do, but we're trying to do it.
We see the effort. We can see that's obvious. You're doing good, and you're starting out of the top 6. They will only take 6 to go to the 50-lap main event. So do you think you got it dialed in a little better?
Yeah, we're trying. It's hard to figure out this type of car. It's a little more radical compared to the other short track car that we have. And, we're trying to figure out what adjustments are required for what movements. And it's our first night in the car. So we're just trying and we're learning, and it's an experience.
Well, and you're an experienced winged sprint car driver. We know that with the All-Stars. Continued luck there. And with this midget, you're gaining, looking good. Back to the booth, Gary.
Well, she starts outside row 5 in the 10th position, and the format calls for 8. I almost said guys to transfer. We have to stop saying that in this modern day of motorsports. 8 drivers will transfer, so she'll have to move up a couple of spots to find a position in the feature.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of tough people in the semi-feature. It's not going to be that easy.
Well, we talked about how prestigious this race is, so it's time for our question of the week, and that is just what would it mean to you to win the annual Night Before the 500?
It'd mean a whole lot. I've run second here 2 years in a row, and I'm really looking forward to this race, this beginning part of this season. But we got a good chance here tonight, and hopefully everything comes through.
It'd be great. This is the first time I've ran IRP in a midget, and as you know, we come out here and done a little testing, and I got 12 or 15 laps in, which helped me a little bit. So we're looking forward to tonight, and I'm pretty sure Bob, he's set up a lot of cars for this place, so I'm sure the car will be nice. So.
Oh, it'd be great. I mean, coming off a night like I had last night where everything went wrong, it just completely turned the tables around and get the momentum going again, just put us back up in points. It'd be really nice.
Obviously, it's a great big race, and those are the ones you want to win, and it'd really be special, with being Indy weekend and all the fans and car owners and crews from the Indy 500 over here watching, so it'd be a tremendous accomplishment, I think.
It's kind of a twofold situation. It's the first time back in the car since my tragedy in Orlando and my burns.
happy to get back in the race car. We did a little testing this week and feels good to be back in their seat, so it'll mean a lot to me that way. And this is a very prestigious event, and it ranks really high on everybody's list.
I think to win this race is so big just because you're so close to the Speedway and just the reputation it has for the guys that have won this race and gone on to bigger and better things.
Man, everything to win this. You know, it's probably one of the biggest races of the year, and it was my first USAC midget win. So, you know, obviously it was a big deal for me, and to beat a bunch of good guys. You know, it's the toughest guys come here to race, so it was a big deal for me.
So, Larry Rice, you were a former USAC midget champion. What would it have meant to your career to have won here?
I'm not too sure. It's too late to worry about it.
That was yesterday, and yesterday's gone.
That's right.
We just get the air conditioning cranked up here in the broadcast booth. This will be a great night at Raceway Park. I just glimpse of the fans there on the hill outside turn one. A great crowd. What a great evening for motorsports. We have the semi coming up. Let's see if Sarah can make her way to the feature.
Come to Circuit City for guaranteed low prices on top brands in every department. Right now, pay no interest for 12 months on all TVs and camcorders $4.99 and up, appliances $3.99 and up, and more. And get this eMachines computer with 15-inch monitor and Canon Color Bubble Jet printer for just $699.99 after mail-in rebates. Don't miss the savings in every department right now at Circuit City.
When you're active, the last thing you want is the uncomfortable itch of dandruff. Introducing new Head & Shoulders Refresh. It helps prevent dandruff, and its refreshing mint formula feels cool and stimulating on the scalp. No regular shampoo can give you hair so refreshed and flake-free. New Head & Shoulders Refresh from the Head & Shoulders family. Our refreshing way to help prevent dandruff.
My girlfriend made me go to Cancun. I could not watch NHL tonight. When I got back, my knowledge was smaller. I hate Cancun.
If you're an open wheel, open cockpit race fan, there is only one place to be this weekend, and that is in or around Indianapolis. We're in Claremont, just to the west of Indianapolis at Raceway Park. We're about set for the 10-lap semi. 8 will transfer. The last chance for these drivers to transfer to the main event.
Yeah,
there's a look at Danny Drynan.
Yeah, he's standing up in the cockpit. I'm not sure what they're doing. He's already transferred into the race, but they're still working on that thing for whatever reason, trying to get it dialed in a little closer.
Nice to see him back in the cockpit. Such a scary accident and fire at Orlando. The first time he's had a chance to get back in the cockpit. There's a look at Dave Darland's car. He is supposed to start outside the second row, and the Bob East Steve Lewis Performance Racing team still working on the left rear. He smacked the fence up there in the fourth heat race, was leading. And Amy, how do they come? Are they going to get that car ready?
No, it doesn't look like that they're going to run Dave Darland anymore this evening, even though they fixed the left rear problem. When they got a little bit deeper into the guts of the car, they found the driveline was hurt a little bit worse than what they would want to put Dave Darland out in the semi. So Dave Darland and the 9X, they're done for the night.
So Dave, doggone it, becomes a spectator, always thrilling on the dirt tracks, and is becoming quite proficient on the paved ovals. Of course, now to win a Silver Bullet title, which you did a couple of years ago, you really need that expertise. Don't forget ESPN2 RPM tonight. If you're a gearhead, if you're a thunderhead, if you're a race fan, weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Remember, for more information, log on to ESPN.com, a part of the Go Network, go.com. RPM tonight. Well, doggone it, we're going to miss Dave Darland, and Dave would have had some excellent onboard camera shots for us.
Well, it's a tough break, but what happened when he backed that thing in there? He hit the left rear very hard. It probably bent the driveline, and it was probably they probably found that out after they had the left rear fixed. And it's just too dangerous to go out there. If that driveline comes loose, of course, the driveline in one of these cars runs right between the driver's legs, and they have come loose before, smacked the driver's legs, and broken their ankles. Did happen.
Jimmy Sills at his driving school out in Marysville, California, had a driveline come loose on a sprint car. Let's go back and visit with a guy that I'm very happy to see back in the cockpit. Danny Dryden is with Johnny Parsons.
Hey, we're all happy to see Dan Dryden back in the cockpit. In the cockpit he is. He's standing up. What are you up there, bossing the crew around?
Actually, car was a little tight in the heat race, as all our cars tonight are, so we're doing a little change to hopefully get a little closer for the feature setup. We've got 50 laps tonight, more fuel than we normally run, and a few other things that are adding to the whole equation.
You mean you never tested with a full load of fuel?
Of course I did.
Well, we thought you may have because you are the builder. How many cars do you have out here?
I believe there's 9 cars out here tonight, and our own little TLC race car is going really well tonight. We had a little trouble on the start of the heat race. We have a new engine, and it stumbled a little bit. It was a little surprise to me there. So we worked on the fuel injection, and now we worked on the chassis, and hopefully we'll have her back on track for the feature.
Oh, I'm sure you will. Now, tires have always played a part here. I know they still stamp them when you qualify, so you qualify probably on a harder tire than normal, or did you for the 50 laps?
Well, actually, our cars, the Dryden chassis themselves, are very easy on tires, so we're able to run the softest tire allowable tonight on the right rear corner. Every one of my customers are on it, and hopefully it doesn't catch us out, but usually we have a pretty good response on the 7.3 tire.
I think you'll be in fine shape, buddy. Good luck. We'll look for you in the winner's circle at the end of 50. Upstairs, Gary.
We have given him a rough time on occasion, but I tell you what, that guy is spectacular in a cockpit of any kind of a race car.
And he's fast.
There's Dave Steele and Brian Gerster. They get that oil fitting fixed, so Gerster is back out there. Dave Darling will not be out there. He was to start outside the second row. Third row, Tony Ave and Michael Lewis. Then in the fourth row, Ed Carpenter and Robbie Parrish. Parrish gets back out there to that skirmish in the fourth heat. There's Dane Carter and Sarah Fisher, Nick Lundgren, Mark Boyce. You take a look at John Heidenreich, Sarah McCune. And I tell you what, as we go on through Joe Janowski and Jerry Coons Jr., some good drivers in the back of the pack, Westfall and Herb. And keep an eye on that number 62, that red of Heidenreich, because you talk about spectacular drivers out of Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. He's always on the gas.
Yeah, he's going to be spectacular, and he starts a long way back. The top 8 transfer into the feature race, so everybody in back of that's going to be really pushing hard to get to the front.
Tony Ave in that silver number 75 goes down low. He apparently has seen some other guys work that groove to their liking. 3 wide there momentarily through the second corner.
David Steele jumped out into a nice lead. Brian Gerster running in second place. And it looks like Goff hanging on that other black car in third spot.
And again, the silver 75 stays on the low side.
And he tries to get around the low side. That bright yellow car is Eddie Carpenter's. He's running inside the top 8 now and moving up on your leaders.
Carpenter, of course, won that race at Louisville here about 2 weeks ago for his first USAC midget win. The son of Tony George, the president of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
He's now running in 6th position. The 4-car Mark Boyce running in 7th.
And here comes Heidenreich into the 8th position in that red number 62. Slides across the nose of Dane Carter.
And that yellow car is
full.
Right, that yellow car back there is Jerry Coons Jr. He did not even make any of the heat races. He had to transfer through the last chance race, and now that he's moved up and has a shot at getting into that top 8 and into the feature event, which doesn't happen very often.
Well, there's the 62 of Heidenreich. Went to the inside of Boyce, going down the backstretch into 3. He cannot make the move by, or can he?
Well, that's 7th and 8th. Coons is now in 9th position. He's the guy that's the odd man out. Oh, they almost touched.
Contact.
Boyce got a little bit low. Oh, and we do have somebody in the wall. That's the 70.
That's Tony Ave.
Yeah, Tony Ave.
Tony Ave.
Tony Ave was very quick early in the night. I'm not sure. He started up in the 3rd row and somehow got in the back.
And let's take a look. You can see the scuff marks there along the wall as Ave is okay, but he got turned around somehow. Let's watch again.
Well, we're watching up. Oh, yeah, he and Eddie Carpenter, it looked like they touched a little bit.
Well, he got up in the marbles and went on around.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be. See, all that oil dry is up there a little bit higher on the racetrack. So he might have got in that oil dry and just spun by himself, and Carpenter hit him after he'd already lost the back end of the race car.
Contact was not hard, so maybe they can restart that car. Ave a couple of weeks ago at Winchester at a Neymar's race was the second fast qualifier behind Ryan Newman. They chose to take that back to the front challenge, but at the back of the pack, and he and Newman put on a great show through traffic until they actually made contact and he spun.
Well, You know, it'd be interesting to know whether he did just get up there a little bit high. This racetrack, since they've recontoured it, put in the new wall and repaved it, the groove is not as high as it used to be. The groove used to be right up next to the fence. But since they've recontoured it, it's down between those white lines. It's right about where Eddie Carpenter's running right now and lower. You get up above that white line, and the race car gets very, very loose. It's not nearly as good up on that high line as it used to be.
So what we're showing Boyce there in the 8th position and Carpenter 7th.
They're getting ready.
Heidenreich does not have a transfer position.
They're getting around for a restart this time around.
They come off the corner. Dave Steele, rare to see Dave Steele, your defending champion here in this race, go through a semi. Gerster in back that black 7.
Right, still running at third. That's Heidenreich and Boyce. Once again, Jerry Coons in that yellow car on the outside, and he smoked on around. It looked like Dane Carter that he got around on the outside.
And now that yellowish green number 3 trying to pick up one more position. Boyce still being challenged by the 62 as Heidenreich goes by on the inside. Jerry Coons there side by side with Dane Carter.
And Dane Carter's trying to move into the top 8. That is 7th and 8th you're looking at. Mark Boyce in the 4 car and the yellow number 7 car. They're running in 7th and 8th position. Dane Carter in the white car now running in 9th and running very badly into that 8th and final transfer spot as Sarah Fisher in the light blue car seems to be catching this group of cars, and she may get into contention.
Of course, Dane Carter's dad, Pancho, a victor in this race so many years ago. He was the 72 midget champion.
Well, these guys out here battling right now. Jerry Coons Jr. has done a great job. He had to start clear at the back end of this pack. A long way to go to get into the top 8. Now then, that's Sarah Fisher you're looking at. Dane Carter and Tony Ave. He had to go clear to the back. Now then, he's moving back up, and he wants to gain about 3 more spots so he can get into the feature event.
Well, there is Fisher to the inside, trying to get to the inside of Dane Carter, and right behind her is Tony Ave. The blue car is Fisher. The white car on the high side is Dane Carter.
That is 9th, 10th, and 11th. All of those, any of those, would have to gain 1 more spot to get into the feature event. So all of those guys, Ave is being held up. Those 2 racing each other side by side, holding him. Oh, he got sideways.
And he gets bumped from the back.
Well, that's going to cost him big time as he just got down a little low. Looked like he got in some more oil dry down at the bottom of the racetrack and sent him up almost into the fence again.
An eventful night for Tony Ave. Back to your leader on the white flag lap. So Dave Steele will lead flag to flag. The top 8 will transfer.
We haven't said much about Michael Lewis, but he is right behind Steele.
Gerster goes in 3rd. 4th would be Carpenter. The 5th spot would go to the 62 car of Heidenreich.
Boy, I tell you, that was a pretty good race on back in the pack, but the first 8 are all that's going to transfer. And Tony Ave was a big loser with that spin, and he fell out of the top 8.
So there is a look at your winning car, normally number 9, but for tonight's program it's 91. So we'll give these guys a chance to prepare the cars and go racing over 50 laps at Raceway Park.
I've been in racing for nearly 40 years. I've driven through fields and even run a dirt car on an asphalt track. Yeah, I've won my share of races. And thanks to what my dad taught me, I've never forgotten what's made it all possible: the fans. That's why I'm proud to bring you the American Motorsports Club. Join me as a member, and for $39.95 a year, you could save hundreds of dollars with discounts on things racing fans buy every day. You'll also get special rates on lodging tickets and events. Join the club, have your credit card ready.
And what's more, we're offering a sweepstakes that's absolutely free. This week, you could win your choice of a pair of Harley-Davidson Fat Boys, a Chevy Tahoe, or a Ford F-150. The winner will be drawn after next weekend's Coca-Cola 600. That winner could be you, so dial the 1-800 number now.
This is one supercharged sweepstakes, but you have to enter to be in the running to win. So give me a call.
The American Motorsports Club. Call today and finish first.
A great tradition reborn on ESPN2. Live from the Blue Horizon, Irwin versus Larkin, a 10-round bout. Then the main event. Orlando Canizales takes on Richard DeJesus in a 10-round featherweight bout. Friday night fights, Friday at 9 on ESPN2.
We're back live from Indianapolis Raceway Park in the broadcast booth. Gary Lee along with Larry Rice, with Johnny Parsons and Amy East. Then in the pit area is again Dave Steele, who won this event last year, wins the semi over Michael Lewis, Brian Gerster, Ed Carpenter, and Johnny Heidenreich. So 8 will transfer out of that event as the preparations continue in the pit area right now, as we take a look at David Goff, who went 6th. 7th was Jerry Coons Jr. and Mark Boyce held on for 8th position. So those 8 will transfer. Sarah Fisher missed by 1 spot. Dane Carter was 10th. However, there is a promoter's option, so we could see Sarah yet. Let's visit with David Steele and see how he's feeling.
We showed you all the damage right before that semi, and you guys just put tape on it and decided to go with everything that was bent, a little off alignment. How hard was it to handle the 91 out there?
It wasn't much fun. I mean, the car's not right, but, you know, for it's been up, it actually isn't bad. So I was hoping we'd have a little bit of time to get it straightened out, but they're calling for the feature lineup right now, so it looks like we're going to have to pretty much go with how it is.
Okay, good luck tonight, Dave, and that's why he pulled it not into victory lane, but right back into the Lewis Racing camp.
We have a very historic race car here that has been restored, the championship car from 1989 that won the title, with the capable hands of Rich Vogler driving that one. And the car has been restored by Tom Deeth, the former hydroplane champion, driving the Miss Budweiser. And Johnny, I think you can give us more information on a car that I think it won the Chili Bowl and the Midget Invitational at the RCA Dome in about 17 races in one season.
This car won about everything Rich Vogler sat in at the racetrack. And Tom Deeth had the pleasure of restoring this car. Tom, did it go together pretty good?
It went together beautifully. About 5 weeks ago, this was a basket case car, and Tom let me put it together. It was a privilege to do that. There was a lot of people involved. I want to thank Hoosier Tires and Simpson Race Products, Mike Stryker. They all really were a key part of getting this car ready and up here. Also, USAC and the people at IRP, they were great.
Well, it's a good tribute to Rich Vogler, our longtime friend, too. Say, Tom, you got a race car. Do you have any more? Is this your only one?
Well, you remember me back in the 80s with the Black Deuce at the Speedrome. So we played with Richie then, so I've had an affection for whatever Richie had. And I've had this car for 9 years, and I was going to bring it on tour for the year 2000 for the Millennium. But my friend Tom Deeth suggested we don't wait that long. We do it now. So with his enthusiasm and all of his elbow grease, here it is.
Well, I tell you, the car looks beautiful on the track earlier tonight. We have the 1991 USAC Midget Champion, Mike Stryker, in it. He's a car builder. He didn't build this one, though. We know Tom Deeth did. So happy to see you guys out here with this. Hope you're having as much fun as we are.
It's our pleasure.
Yeah, I'm like a duck out of water. You know, I'm more suited for boats. But I'll tell you what, I've had a blast. The people here at Indianapolis have been great. We're going to the Speedway tomorrow, and the IRL is going to put on one heck of a race.
No doubt they always do. Back to you, Gary.
Of course, Tom was victorious so many times in the Miss Budweiser, won the hydroplane championship, then turned to midget racing, ran midgets for a while, was then seriously injured in a stock car race at Charlotte and hung up the helmet back in 1991. Now he restores vintage race cars and vintage boats.
Well, it looks like he did a nice job with that race car. It just looks exactly the way I remember it when it ran all those years ago.
You made the observation that you like the guys that had the old cars to restore them to their prominent years. You know, don't paint them up with their favorite colors and favorite number. Go back and paint them up the way they were.
Nothing makes me more mad than to see somebody who gets a famous race car and then paints it some color that the race car never was and puts some name on it that was never on the race car to begin with. So, you know, I think you ought to restore them to look the way they did when they were famous. You know, otherwise, who knows what the heck it is.
I'd like to see that Gatorade 98 car that you made famous in the sprint car ranks back in the 70s. Well, of course, it's a big racing weekend here in Indianapolis, and many of the fans here tonight will kind of go over to the other big speedway on 16th Street tomorrow. ABC live 11 a.m. Eastern time with Bob Jenkins, our friend, with all the lap-by-lap call of the greatest spectacle in racing from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We're coming back with 50 laps of midget racing from Raceway Park.
When Sears has a Memorial Day sale, expect a big splash. All swimwear's on sale. All two-pieces, all tanks, all trunks. Suit yourself and everybody else for 40% off. And bag even more savings with a really cool canvas duffel. Yours for just $9.99 when you spend $25 or more. The big Memorial Day sale through Monday. Nobody helps you sail into summer like Sears.
Hey, Dad, what are you doing up?
Reliving your mother's stuffed peppers.
Hartford again, huh?
What are you taking?
Tums, and I'm back for more.
You still taking that stuff? Look, Dad, take a Pepsid AC. One tiny pill controls acid all night.
So I can get some sleep.
Next time, take one before dinner, and you can stop heartburn before it starts.
Before it starts?
You don't see me suffering, do you?
What are you guys doing now?
Nothing, dear. We were talking about your peppers.
Peppers, yeah.
I got some in the fridge.
You can sleep heartburn-free with Pepsid AC.
What kind of rooms you got?
King size.
You got room service?
Donuts and coffee.
Got entertainment?
All rooms have every movie ever made in every language, anytime, day or night.
How is that possible?
Could your business use the bandwidth to change everything? Ride the light. Quest.
It's the MCI WorldCom USAC Midget Cars in the annual Night Before the 500 for 53 years. They've been doing this at some 5 different racetracks, but tonight we're at Indianapolis Raceway Park. And we talk about the guys, well, they're shooting free T-shirts up to the stands, and we wonder if they get them all the way to the glass here to the press box. Watch this. There's some technology. Catch it, Rice. That didn't get far enough. We talk about the drivers getting the cars prepared in the pit area, but quite honestly, there are some adjustments the drivers can make during the race. Now, Tracy Hine earlier referred to the weight jacker, and earlier this afternoon, Amy East took a look at what the weight jacker is all about.
At most USAC events, you'll see the driver move his left hand away from the steering wheel and adjust the knob. This is what he's adjusting, the shadow weight jacker, and it's mounted on the left rear of most Midget, Sprint, and Silver Crown cars. The advantage of having a weight jacker mounted on your car is that it's almost like having the mechanic right on board with you. It can change the cross weights, it can tighten or loosen the fill for your race car, but it's up to the driver to make that decision. He can turn weight in or he can take weight out. So as soon as you see that left hand leave the steering wheel and move to this knob, you know that the driver...
Well, there's a look at Mike Stryker, former USAC Midget champion, on board that beautifully restored, was a Kenyon chassis. It was built for a Volkswagen engine, but they crammed a Cosworth in there, and that car was so successful. But, man, you talk about some of the cars that Rich Vogler drove during his career, a 5-time Midget champion, 2-time Sprint car champion, and, you know, the IRL was just made for a guy like Rich Vogler.
Well, it certainly was. He was a great race car driver, and I tell you, I was most impressed when he got in cars that were not very good race cars and just drove the wheels off of them and made the racing. I also want to mention tonight the Simpson Super 7. $50,000 will be put up later on this year for the 7 drivers who qualify for the Simpson Super 7. They put up this money for the highest finishing Simpson driver in each of the 6 races here at Indianapolis Raceway Park this year. Then later in September, they will have a Sprint and Midget doubleheader. Any one of those 7 Simpson drivers who finishes or wins both of those races wins that $50,000 bonus. Simpson's been a longtime supporter of USAC and Indianapolis Raceway Park, this whole division. And this $50,000 bonus has got a few of the guys down there talking about making some pretty good money come September. So that's one of the incentives that these guys will be shooting for that just adds to the prestige of this race.
A lot of good racing going on out on the West Coast this evening. In fact, last Saturday, local boy Corey Cruzman started 4th in the field of 31 SCRA entrants at Ventura Raceway in Ventura, California. At the green, number 7, Mike English jumped out in front of points leader Richard Griffin, but going into turn 2, Troy Rutherford got low on the racetrack, overtook both, entering turn 3 to lead the opening lap at the 30-lap feature. On lap 2, Cruzman followed suit and went low in turn 2 to take second position from English. Rutherford led until lap 7 when Cruzman pulled the old slide job to take the top spot. The contact sent Rutherford up on the racetrack, but he avoided the wall and fell back to 3rd. As we will see later, Rutherford would not forget about Cruzman's slide job. A yellow came out on lap 10 when number 50 of Richard Griffin slid in the rear of number 34 Jordan Hermansader. Griffin coasted to a stop on the track and was unable to restart. Now watch this. On lap 13, number 1 Lee Brewer Jr. and 56 Eddie Patterson shared rubber and both went flying. Patterson actually got above the fence on his aerial. Here's another look from the front stretch wall. Patterson goes soaring off screen. Brewer walked away uninjured, but Patterson was knocked unconscious, was transported to a local hospital. He suffered 2 broken vertebrae, will be out of action for at least 2 months. On lap 24, Cruzman felt the heat from Rutherford. Heading into turn 3, Rutherford tried to pay back Cruzman with a slide job of his own, but he got too high, and Cruzman raced underneath him to hold on. Ventura native Cruzman led the final 5 laps without a serious challenge to earn his 3rd win of the 1999 season, making the hometown fans very happy. And, of course, for a couple of seasons, that was our West Coast home out at Ventura. Now, there is a lake, well, actually more like a pond in the infield. Now, many racetracks have lakes or ponds in the infield. They're all named. We have to name that one. As of yet, it's unnamed.
We'll think about that. Next time we come,
Dakin. Lake Dakin.
Lake Dakin?
Well, Jeff Dakin's the operational manager here at Raceway Park, so we'll call it.
He probably dug that rascal. Might as well be named after.
By hand. Hey, happy to see you folks here this evening. All the Thunderheads that have come out to join us live on the Deuce from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Let's go back to Amy East.
Well, I made comment if you saw the left hand move away from the steering wheel, it was to adjust the weight jacker earlier. Ha! Danny Dryden, I don't know how you have your hands on the wheels most of the time. He's got levers and knobs. This is front. He's got a lever over here for the anti-roll bar system that he has in his car. His weight jacker adjuster is way down to the right. And then he also has an adjustable shock. So that's 4 things for Danny Dryden to play with in the cockpit. And Johnny has Tracy Hines.
Yeah, here with Tracy Hines. We have a weight jacker on Tracy's car. It's a little bit different. Amy's talking about different version, different manufacturer. Also, this engine was apart. They had the cylinder head off of the engine of this Esslinger motor. And I'm right here with Rusty Kuntz. He's the chief on this car, working with his brother, Keith. Rusty, what was the matter? This engine was all apart earlier.
The last couple laps of the heat race, Tracy was complaining that the car got a little loose. And when we came in, we noticed that the overfill was puking a little water out. So we started checking around, and we knew we had a blown head gasket, so we had to change the head gasket.
Well, that was a good catch, because that would have definitely taken you out of the race. Best of luck to you, and we're going to see those Willoughby cars up front. Back to you, Gary.
Thank you.
You talk about a guy that knows his way around a race car, man. He can make a race car work on any kind of a racetrack.
Rusty and Keith Coons are 2 of the best in the business. I drove for them. I won a couple of races for them, and they're probably the reason I won, to be quite honest.
Well, you know, I don't know how these drivers don't get confused when they've got all those adjustments in the cockpit like that. Boy, that's just too much work. Try to steer the car and stab it and adjust it. And, hey, we've got them lined up for the feature, the main event. Come right back with us.
New grill guard, Steve? I like it.
Thanks, Sally. I got it at Pep Boys.
Hey, Sally, how about my chrome rims?
Step bars, bug shield, tires, and wheels.
Hey, Sally, hear that? Performance exhaust.
Love your car? Save $3 with Pennzoil. Buy 12 quarts of Pennzoil, get $3 back instantly.
Hey, Sally! Sally!
Sally moved. Hey, nice tow hitch.
Pep Boys. Cars like us.
People love us. A little drop of water. What could it do to your car's finish? Plenty. Unless you use Rain-X Ultra Wax. With the same super water-repelling action you get in Rain-X for windshields, it's easy to use. It makes water bead right up and roll right off, so it can't magnify the sun's harmful UV rays or form those nasty water spots. So use new Rain-X Ultra Wax. Nothing sticks but the shine.
Working on my car more myself these days saves me money and keeps it running like I like. Performance is important to me, and that includes the cleanup. Scott shop towels on a roll give me the performance of cloth at a fraction of the cost of these. And Scott shop towels on a roll are so strong, I can use them again and again. So, no matter what it is you're working on, buy some Scott shop towels on a roll where you buy auto supplies. Performance of a cloth at a fraction of the cost.
Tonight, we're live from Indianapolis Raceway Park on the Deuce. The night before the 500 has been brought to you by Quest, the bandwidth to change everything. And by Daytona USA, the official attraction of NASCAR. Well, once again, the cars being pushed off now for our 50-lap event. Unusual to go this many laps on this size of racetrack, although there are some races that are 100 laps in length, like the Turkey Night Grand Prix and the Hut 100 as well.
Well, there's a lot of races that are longer, but it's very important for tire management on a place like this. You heard Dryden say they chose the softest tire, and they hope that was right. Well, it can be a bad mistake if you overcook that tire early in the race.
Well, looking at the points coming into this evening's race, there's the tread cam. Where has that been all evening? Jason Leffler, your defending two-time champion, now leading by 26 markers over Jerry Coons. Ricky Shelton is third, then Ryan Newman and Brian Gerster in the second five. We have Ed Carpenter, a winner already this season, Travis Wellpotts, Dave Steele, and a tie for ninth with Clay Klepper and John Heidenreich. So I guess we saved the best shot for last.
That's right. That one that makes you duck every time they run over, right? Just before we get started, we want to offer our condolences to the Hurtubise family. Jane Hurtubise, who's been ill for about a year, passed away this past week on Wednesday, so we want to offer condolences to her family. And Jack Cunningham, longtime car owner from Independence, Missouri. He had drivers like Larson and Weld and Johnny Rutherford and all those guys, and he passed away also.
And we want to say get well to Herb Porter, who was seriously injured in a car accident. Was riding with former driver Eb Rhodes. They were involved in a very, very vicious crash, and so we want to wish him well.
And we do want to report that Brandon Petty is doing quite well, too. We said that he had a very bad accident up at Anderson at a testing session not long ago, and he's out of the hospital and has his arm plated, and he's doing quite well.
And of course, we told you earlier we'll be going to Winchester in about 10 days, but the Stoops Freightliner Sprint Cars will run first at Eldora tomorrow. Then next Wednesday, the Speedrome Midgets here in Indianapolis. Then the Stoops Freightliner Sprint Cars at Lawrenceburg on Friday evening. And of course, a week from Wednesday, we'll be at Winchester in East Central Indiana for the Sprint Cars on the Deuce. 16th Street Speedway next Friday. And then, of course, on Friday night, the Western States Sprint Cars and the TQs and the Western State Midgets at Irwindale. What a fantastic facility that is out there. Brand new racetrack east of L.A. Of course, the Midgets at the Mesa Marin Speedway in Bakersfield, California. So a busy, busy week coming up for the guys that run USAC both here in the Midwest and on the West Coast. Hey, there's a look at Winchester, our next broadcast. That's coming up on the 9th. But next Saturday, the Midgets will be over there. I tell you what, if you've never seen Winchester in person, you got to see it, because television does not do that racetrack justice.
Oh, you got to just go out there and try to walk up the banking one time. That's what you have to try to do. If you can make it to the top, then you're pretty thrilled just to be able to do that.
We have tried over the years to show how steeply banked that is, and we really can't do it. I think one time we rolled a Volkswagen Beetle down the racetrack, and that was very demonstrative, but otherwise it's very difficult to show you how high banked that racetrack is.
The NASCAR, the Australian sprint car champion, came one year and he said, I wouldn't set myself in the car for fear she might start here.
Front row, John Nervo and Danny Drynan. In the second row is our feature lineup, Jason Leffler and Ryan Newman. The first six are inverted, so Dave Steele and your fast qualifier Tracy Hines occupy row 3. In the fourth row on the inside, it's Jay Drake. Brian Gerster has that oil line fixed. He's back out in the car number 7. Then in the fifth row, it's Chuck Leary, a heat race winner, and Ricky Shelton. In the sixth row on the inside, car number 61 is David Goff and A.J. Fike in car 69. The seventh row on the inside is Michael Lewis and A.J. Davis. In the eighth row, occupied by Ed Carpenter and Clay Klepper in number 17. Row 9 will find Steve Barth on the inside. Rick Treadway with his camera on the outside should give us some good shots from mid-pack. In the 10th row, it's Michael Roselli Jr. and Wayne Chin at number 71. Then it's Mark Boyce and John Heidenreich. And it's Travis Wellpott and Jerry Coons Jr. Tell you what, you watch that Heidenreich again for the back of the pack. He's always worth the price of admission.
Yes, and Sarah Fisher will be the MCI provisional starter. This year, MCI has given money to put a provisional starter in each race. You can only use it once a year. This year, Sarah Fisher had an opportunity to use the provisional here tonight, and she chose to do that. So
well, a big money race. You're on national television. Why not?
Exactly. So she's going to be back there. It's going to be tough for her. I tell you, the guy from the front row, Danny Drynan, I think that we just talked to, he's going to be the guy to watch. He's got an excellent starting position. He's going to have the least worries about keeping his tires cool because he's going to be out front. The other guys are going to have to battle their way through the pack. A guy like Ryan Newman, who's right behind him, it's going to be very difficult for him to battle his way through, get up there and give him any kind of trouble for that top spot. The Drynan chassis, those two on the outside, are going to be challenged very strongly, though, by the Beast cars on the inside and the stealth cars of the Willoughby's 90, 97, and 71. Those three chassis manufacturers dominate the first 4 rows.
You know, for a couple of years, it was all beast. Bobby's had the corner of the market. Then we had the Stealth chassis. John Godfrey put a great race car together. And now Dryden has come on board. We've got some great chassis out here.
It's amazing how many cars they're building. Each one of them told me they built about 25. That's 75 brand new midgets just around
midget
here.
racing is certainly healthy in America today. So we're about to go racing for 50 laps. The green flag is out. The 53rd annual Budweiser night before the 500. And look at that start for Dryden. 2 Dryden cars are nose to tail off the corner. Dryden and Ryan Newman.
Yes, John Nervo is the one that got a terrible start. He fell to 5th before he got to the first corner. He just didn't look like the engine picked up coming off of turn number 4, and he had 4 cars get around him before he ever got to the starting line.
Now, if Ryan Newman ever wants some hot setup tips from the boss, he better not pass Dryden.
Well, you got Dryden running first, Newman in second. Then you got the 2 beast cars are Steele and Leffler running in 3rd and 4th. Those are exactly the 4 cars we thought might be the cars to beat here tonight.
But keep in mind that Dryden talked about the soft compound on the right rear. We're not sure what compound that the beast cars are using, but we have to believe it's a harder compound than what we're seeing. Oh, Dryden got very high in the oil dry, and Ryan Newman goes by with the lead.
Well, you don't want to give a hole to Ryan Newman. This kid hasn't won all these races recently because by accident. He's always right there. He's going to take advantage of any mistake that you make. He took advantage of that one, and now that he's pulled out in a 4 or 5 car length lead.
Yeah, and look at Jason Leffler, looks to the inside, trying to go by the inside of the 33 of Dryden. And there's the 91 car of Steele right behind him.
Well, both of those guys, it doesn't look like, oh, we got the car up against the wall over there. That's Eddie Carpenter. He got way high over there coming off of turn number 4. It looked like he might have tapped the wall a little bit, and he's going to just coast on into the pit area. No, it doesn't look like he hit the wall. It just looked like he got up there out of the way. Now we got somebody in the wall, though.
That's the 21 car. That's the car that started from the pole position, John Nervo. And he brings out the yellow flag early.
Well, he got in, you know, once again, that corner down there is a lot slicker than the other end. That oil that they put down early and all the oil dry, if you get up out of the groove at all, you're going to be in some very loose territory. As we take a look at John Nervo, he got spun real early getting into the corner. Couldn't tell exactly what happened, but very, very early in the corner.
We got the tail end of that. It looked like he got on the binders, come up behind somebody. Maybe got on the binders too hard and lost the rear end.
Well, whatever. He certainly got in the corner up way too high.
Ryan Newman is leading this thing, and we talked about the soft compound on the right rear of the Dryden-built chassis. Yellow flags will play into their strategy. If this race were to go flag to flag green, that right rear might not last.
Well, you just never know. They take a gamble, you do the best you can, and that's exactly what they've done this time.
There's a look at Chuck Leary in car number 30, and right in front of him is Jay Drake in 97.
Yeah, Leary started back in 9th position. He's moved up several spots already. And this race is only 4 laps old, so he's moved up several spots here early in the race.
Let's go back on board our in-car camera shot and show you some different racing grooves. You're with Rick Treadway now off the corner.
And he's, you can see Carpenter way up. Looked like he just, something happened to him. He just pulled way up out of the groove. He didn't really lose the car and brush the wall like we had earlier thought. He just kind of got out of the throttle, got way up out of everybody's way, let everybody go by, and then pull down, which is a great move on his part. He didn't cause any yellow flag.
That's a good-looking race car you're riding with now. Number 88, Rick Treadway, of course, we mentioned earlier, his dad owns the Treadway racing team that will start from the pole position tomorrow with Ari Lyondike taking his final drive in an Indy car, looking for his 3rd victory at Indianapolis. His 3rd pole position secured last weekend.
Well, so far it's been pretty much a storybook month for him. I mean, a guy who's going to retire goes out and wins the pole. I mean, I don't think you could ask for anything better. If he pulls off the victory, it'll be one of the most popular ever at Indianapolis.
Closest field in history at Indianapolis. Should be a great race tomorrow. The pace car, as you see, is off the racetrack. The field belongs to Newman, and I'm not sure that pass is going to stand. It looked to me like Leffler got on by a little quicker than the green flag came.
Well, the green flag, what the rule is on the yellow flag, though, once the green flag drops, you're allowed to pass anywhere on the racetrack. It looked like Leffler might have got a bit of a jump on him, but Dryden just, remember he told us earlier in the interview that his car stumbled a little bit on the bottom end. It might have just given that stumble, and Leffler took advantage of it.
Well, Leffler now begins to apply the pressure to Ryan Newman. Newman fourth in the point standings in the midgets. He leads the Silver Bullet Series. Ducked again. Here they come.
The 61 car Goff has just pulled off the racetrack in the infield, so he's out of the race.
So you have a Dryden leading, then two Beast chassis tucked in right behind in second and third. And we're looking back there at that 97 car, and that's a stealth chassis. Here's the battle up in front. Look at this, and he's going to make the pass. Yes, he does. Muscles his way by. Yellow flag is out again, Larry.
Well, that's a tough break. Jason Leffler's not going to get very many chances normally to get around a guy like Ryan Newman, but he had just pulled off that pass when the yellow flag came out, and that means he's going to have to go back, and he knows that he's already fallen back in behind.
That was
Ryan Newman.
Glimpse of Roselli smoking in that red number 98.
Well, probably once they see the smoke, they want to check for oil. They don't want another incident like happened in the heat race where they had 3 or 4 cars smacking into the fence because there's oil all over the racetrack.
Back on board with Treadway. That's the 18 of Wellpot in front of him. Travis started way back near the back of the pack. In fact, in the 23rd starting position.
Yeah, the cars have they've got strung out just a little bit. Now then Roselli heads for the pit area. All that smoke coming out there, they're going to make him come in. They're going to check him out to see what all that was all about.
6 of 50 laps. Once again, Ryan Newman, who won this race 2 years ago. Jason Leffler has finished second the last couple of years, and David Steele won this race last year.
Yeah, they've got A.J. Felker down there. That's not correct. Jay Drake is up there, but Dryden is in 4th place.
Altercation.
Yeah, Dryden is in 4th place. So
the 33 car is 4th. There's a look at Newman in the Dryden. There's a pair of Beast chassis. There's Dryden again.
He's in 4th.
And there is the stealth chassis.
Leary's in 6th in the 30 car, and then Drake is in 7th in the 97 car. So that's the first 7 as you take a look at him on there. He's running in 7th. Or,
that's Drake.
Yeah,
right
I'm sorry, 5th, 6th, 7th, and then Shelton is running in 8th. Is that where we're at? 8th place. Michael Lewis in that red car. He's running back there in about 10th position. And there's A.J. Felker, A.J. Davis back there in 11th.
There's Jerry Coons, who's had a pretty good night after having trouble qualifying. Had to go through the last chance race, then moved through the semi to advance.
Yeah, and we're getting ready for a restart, I believe, this time around. So they're going to be bunching up going down this back straightaway.
Guess what?
What?
The air conditioning's on.
Of course, we're almost finished.
Yeah, this has been a sun all day. In fact, beautiful luxury suites, and the only air conditioning unit not to work today was in ours.
I'm not going to complain.
No,
This is a beautiful facility.
No, we won't. And we've named the lake down there after Jeff Dakin. So,
meanwhile, right off the bat, Leffler tried to move to the inside of Ryan Newman. This time Ryan Newman went in there. It looked like he got a little bit sideways that time, though. He doesn't want to do that very often.
Well, it looks like Dryden has lost another position. So right now,
I think Dryden's having trouble. He told us that car stuttered on the starts. Every restart, he's lost a couple of spots, and I think that's exactly what's happening. That thing doesn't take a hold till he really gets his foot in it and gets it all wound up, and every time it happens, he loses 1 or 2 spots.
Well, Shelton all over the back of him now, and make that Tracy Hines. Tracy Hines in the 71 car. Tracy.
Yeah, Tracy Hines.
Start back in 6th position as the fast qualifier this evening. That's Tracy in the black 71, back on board with Treadway.
There's more smoke from somewhere. If we're looking up there, remember Treadway's running near the back of the pack. Oh, it's a 71 car. That's Wayne Chen, who was pulled off the racetrack, and that smoke was probably out of his car. That's
the smoker may have been the 128 car of A.J. Davis.
Yeah, you can see it on the racetrack. It's still smoking a little bit back there in the back of that group we just were watching coming down the front straightaway.
And there's the 90 car. That's the purple number 90.
That's Shelton in the 90 car trying to get around Tracy Hines. So Shelton doing a nice job, really putting the pressure on Tracy Hines right now.
And there's Dryden right in front of Tracy.
Yeah, those guys, there's a black flag being displayed, and I imagine that is for the 128 car of A.J. Davis.
Yeah, they had the lighted board down here at the flag stand, and there is your car that was spewing some smoke, A.J. Davis. So get himself a good night's sleep, although he talked earlier about staying up all night. I don't think that's a possibility.
Now, there's your top three, 1, 2, and 3. Now, David Steele on the inside of Leffler tried to get down under there. You can see when he got down on the flatter part of the racetrack, you can see him sawing that wheel. The flatter the racetrack, the flatter the part of the racetrack you're on, the harder it is to keep it under control.
We talk about the walking wounded right here. After that hard crash last night, the Silver Bullet race, there's that special cast and glove on the hand of Jason Leffler. And, of course, Steele is still fighting the effects of a very heavy impact at Indianapolis in the IndyCar.
Yeah, and you can see as David Steele headed into the corner, the right front brake on that thing is red hot. He is really using the brakes hard, trying to keep that race car under control and get by Jason Leffler. And he's used that right rear tire up pretty good the last couple laps. He's had that thing pretty far sideways. I'm going to be surprised if he doesn't just fall back and let them go for a couple laps and try to cool that right rear tire off.
Once again, your leader is Ryan Newman, who won this event 2 years ago. So all the main players over the last 2 years are right here on your screen. Ryan Newman won 2 years ago. Jason Leffler finished second the last 2 years, and David Steele won last year.
Now Tracy Hines gets around Danny Drinan. Oh, I thought he got around him. He didn't. Drinan just drive that thing in there real deep, tried to hang on to the spot, but Hines was able to keep that thing down on the bottom of the racetrack and went right on around him. So Hines has moved up one more position. I believe he's now in 6th spot.
Well, for those of you tuning in to NHL Tonight, we'll be with them momentarily, running a little late tonight as we bring you live coverage of the annual Budweiser Night Before the 500 featuring the USAC Midgets from Indianapolis Raceway Park.
This race is only 15 laps old. It's a 50-lap race, so it's a long, long way to go. And
Travis Wellpot.
Yeah, Travis Wellpot heading for the pit area, so his night is ended already. Meanwhile, back up front, Ryan Newman, Jason Leffler, and David Steele, they've all kind of settled into a rhythm, kind of the same speed. They've kept it pretty much the same distance. All of them, I think, are thinking about saving the tires a little bit right now. Sarah Fisher
heads to the infield.
Yeah, she's also got a problem. She's going to pull into the infield and get off the racetrack, so her night's not going to end the way she should.
We weren't anticipating that. No. I was watching Sarah, who didn't pull to the infield, and we got this great shot.
That's Mark Boyce, who's following Rick Treadway. Rick, you're riding along with Rick Treadway. Mark Boyce got down under him, almost made contact right front to left rear, and that's not very good to happen on a racetrack.
Somebody normally takes a ride with that.
That's exactly right. Somebody's going to go somewhere.
This is the battle for 15th position. 15th now is Treadway. 16th is Boyce. He just got that car painted and slapped the number on here this evening. Now move to the inside. Can he make it stick? He does. Motors on by.
Yeah, that time he got by far enough that he could just kind of slide up in front of him, and Treadway had to get away. Oh, we got a car slowing down real slow on the outside of the front straightaway, and everybody seemed to miss him.
A.J. Fike. Fike will head to the infield. We lose one more car, so attrition very high at this point.
Yes, it is. We had a lot of cars have some sort of trouble. It appears a lot of them are having engine trouble.
Well, the battle up in front has really broken off, as you indicated. They've settled into a rhythm. There is a Klepper in 17. There's the 62 of Heidreich.
Yeah, those guys battling back there a little bit in the back of the pack. They're about 11th and 12th, I think.
Yes, 11th and 12th.
Well, Heidreich obviously doesn't have nearly that push that he had earlier. He's got that thing soft. He's moved up. He really has been working well on the bottom.
22nd.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He started way back in the back of this thing.
You know, realistically, he is known for more expertise on the dirt. Look at this move on the inside.
He's right now down on the inside of Klepper, and that thing's stuck perfectly on the bottom of the racetrack. That's what you hope to do when you set the race car up for this race tonight. You hope to set it up so that you can go in on inside of somebody, the race car will stick in the middle of the corner, and you can drive off and get good driving. That's exactly what he did that time.
Well, even with the attrition, there's the winner at 16th Street on Thursday evening, number 7, Jerry Coons Jr., who is up in the points chase. It's been just a miserable night. Did not qualify well. Had to go through the non-qualifiers race, then transferred out of the semi.
Chuck Leary, who was running right up in the top 5, he's also going very slow down the back straightaway.
Yellow flag is out. The yellow flag is out. We have a yellow on the racetrack.
Well, Leary, I don't know whether he caused the yellow by losing something or not, but he lost power going down the main straightaway. Oh, we got somebody up against the wall down in turn 3. That's Lewis. That's Michael Lewis, the 85 car.
He's had some hard contact, it looks like, with the rear of the car, but he's climbing out.
Oops. He's talking to somebody out there.
He shortened that chassis a little bit.
Yeah, he
tail tank.
He's obviously not very happy. Made some contact with somebody, put him tail first into the wall, and looked like he was motioning.
Had a good ride going. Was up in 8th position at the time of that altercation.
He had a good run going. He'd been hanging right with the leaders the whole race. That's the impressive part. This young man's done a nice job here tonight. He ran very well with some of the best in the business in the heat race earlier.
Let's visit with Jerry Coons. He's with Amy.
Just 2 nights ago, you were in victory lane, and tonight you're not going to make it. What happened?
We were running pretty good. We unfortunately had to come through the sea. We had a problem early with the mag, and I don't know, the thing was getting a little bit warm, and last lap it kind of started laying down there, so I just decided to pull it in before it made a big mess. But just want to thank ESPN and all my sponsors. Say hi to everybody in Tucson that's watching, and try to get them next time.
Okay, smart move from Jerry Coons. Try to save the motor as much as he can. He brought it in, and they'll probably try to get a rebuild before the next pavement race.
There is a very unhappy Mr. Lewis. He's chewing on nails right now as he makes that long walk from the 3rd turn down to the pit area as that wrecked race car is on the wrecker. We'll take this break and come back with the conclusion of the race from Raceway Park.
Now, the ultimate in extreme crash action has twice the excitement in this exclusive new 2-video set, Awesome Crashes and Motorcycle Madness. This action-packed set features some of the most awesome and devastating crashes you've ever seen. From the outlaw sprint cars to superbikes and powerboats, Awesome Crashes is just what the name says, awesome. And if you want motorcycle crashes, look no further. Motorcycle Madness has bone-chilling 2-wheel crashes that'll make your spine tingle. You get both action-packed crash videos for the incredible price of only $19.95. But if you order within the next 30 minutes, we'll include Eat Dirt, absolutely free. It's just what the name says, and it's free if you order now. You get all 3 incredible videos for the price of one, a $60 value. Yours for the next 30 minutes for only $19.95. The clock is ticking, so call now. To order, call 1-800-769-0202. That's 1-800-769-0202. Or send check or money order to the address shown. That's 1-800-769-0202. Call now.
Tomorrow on ESPN. Sunday Night Baseball, the Cards, Cubs, followed by Baseball Tonight, Sports Center, and Baseball Tonight, the late edition. On ESPN2, NCAA Women's Softball, Celebrity Arm Wrestling, and Sumo. And on ESPN Classic Click and Pick, what you voted for on the internet. And on Sunday Drives, the 84 U.S. Open. Do you have all the ESPN networks?
As the green flag flies, once again coming up next, the NHL Tonight. Stay tuned for that. Running a little long here from Raceway Park, the 53rd running of the night before the 500. And Ryan Newman, the young college student from South Bend, Indiana, trying for his 2nd victory here at Raceway Park in this prestigious event. Won it 2 years ago. Jason Leffler trying to move up after 2 second-place finishes the last 2 years. And look at this. Look at this battle for 2nd.
That's Jay Drake. What happened during the yellow flag? David Steele pulled off. He was running 3rd the whole race. He pulled in. Now Jay Drake up there battling with Jason Leffler for that 2nd spot.
As we watch the action, let's go back to the pit area and Amy.
I'm here with a very frustrated Michael Lewis. Michael, what happened from your viewpoint?
We were out there racing, you know, it's pretty close racing. Got under a guy and we made contact.
Okay, you were shaking your fist. You were very upset. Any hard feelings, or is it one of those that's just racing kind of deal?
I don't know. I don't want to see anything until I see it on replay.
Okay, well, hopefully you have your VCR set and go home and watch it tonight.
I'm sure somebody will have it, but showing some maturity. Oh, contact right there, Jay Drake and Jason Leffler. And Leffler again this week is in another crash.
Wow.
The battle for 2nd takes out 2 more drivers. You see them pop the steering wheels. Those guys were a nemesis for each other last year, battling for the Midget Championship. The last race of the year was rained out. Drake had won the Turkey Night Grand Prix, had closed the gap and had a shot at the championship. And the last race got rained out. It was not rescheduled, and Jason Leffler took the win, his 2nd straight.
Yeah, you can tell Jason Leffler is not real happy right at the moment. He wants to go up and ask Jay Drake exactly what happened. And no, he's going to tell him what happened. He's not going to ask him. He's going to tell him what happened.
No questions being asked. There were a few statements there.
Yeah.
They're former teammates. And now Drake's going back after him.
Yeah, well, we saw a little wrestle match between these two last summer at 16th Street Speedway, so looks like we're going to have a replay of that.
Yeah, I don't think I want to get in a boxing match with Leffler tonight with that cast on his arm.
Well, he could smack you pretty hard. Let's see what happened as they both entered the corner. Jay Drake goes down to the bottom. Just, you can't tell. One was going up, the other one was coming down. They just made contact. I'm not sure. I'm sure if you're in either driver's seat, you think it was the other guy's fault.
Other one.
Yeah, because, you know, Leffler doesn't know he's down there, number one, because he's too far back. And he was, yeah, well, I tell you what, Jay, I'm not going to say what happened.
Oh, come on, Larry, come on. You're analyzing this thing.
Well, Leffler doesn't know he's back there, number one. So if he comes down, Jay Drake's got to give him enough room to get down there, unfortunately. And he just didn't do it. He was just battling. He was trying to get around. So I'm not going to, you know, you can't really fault
maybe we
like
could get Amy between the two of them at a monitor and watch him analyze it.
Well, you know, you're both racing hard. Jay Drake just went in there. He thought he was low enough to get by him. Jason Leffler took a little lower line than he'd expected, and they made contact. It was plain and simple. It was a racing accident, but I'm sure if I'm either one of those guys, I'm not going to be happy with the other one. There's no question about that.
Well, 26 laps are complete. We still have a long way to go.
Well,
and little by little, we are losing the field.
Well, you're right. We're running out of race cars. That's the worst thing about this thing. We've only got
10 cars left.
10 cars left out of 25, and a lot of them have ended up just like that on the hook.
Well, right now the challengers to Ryan Newman have been knocked by the wayside. So Tracy Hines now is up to second. Danny Drynan back to third.
Now, the ultimate in extreme crash action has twice the excitement in this exclusive new 2-video set, Awesome Crashes and Motorcycle Madness. This action-packed set features some of the most awesome and devastating crashes you've ever seen. From the outlaw and sprint cars to superbikes and powerboats, Awesome Crashes is just what the name says, awesome. And if you want motorcycle crashes, look no further. Motorcycle Madness has bone-chilling two-wheel crashes that'll make your spine tingle. You get both action-packed crash videos for the incredible price of only $19.95. But if you order within the next 30 minutes, we'll include Eat Good, absolutely free. It's just what the name says, and it's free if you order now. You get all three incredible videos for the price of one, a $60 value. Yours for the next 30 minutes for only $19.95. The clock is ticking, so call now. To order, call 1-800-769-0202. That's 1-800-769-0202. Or send check or money order to the address shown. That's 1-800-769-0202. Call now.
We have just had the restart. Dan Drynan lost a position to Ricky Shelton. There's Drynan in the 33 car. He dropped from third to fourth on that restart. The NHL tonight coming up next. So for those of you hockey fans tuning in, we're running a little late from Indianapolis Raceway Park for the NHL tonight coming up immediately following the conclusion of the annual Budweiser night before the 500.
I tell you, I think the fastest race car on the racetrack is John Heidenreich in that 62 car. He has been going past people, and he started way back in 22nd position. He's now up to 6th, and he's really working all over these guys in front of him. And if he can keep the tires cool enough and catching up, there he goes. He just scared that position away. It's Clay Klepper went in there and got a little sideways trying to stay in front of him, just went in a little too deep.
Well, there's nobody braver than John Heidenreich.
Well, and he's a darn good race car driver. You gotta put that part in there too. It's not just bravery; it's the ability to drive that thing and drive it well.
Well, look at this. We could have a battle up in front. There's Tracy Hines, your fast qualifier. Ryan Newman won on this very racetrack just a week ago in the Silver Bullet race. Was fast qualifier, led every lap, and now he has a challenge. He's not been challenged for a number of laps.
Well, these are the two hottest drivers in USAC right now. Both of these guys extremely fast. They've both won a lot of races this year, and it seems like they've had a lot of luck on their side. Last night Tracy didn't, but mostly they have had.
Quickly back to Amy East. Amy?
A lot of frustration down here in the pits, Gary and Larry. We tried to get Jason Leffler and Jay Drake to come over and look at that replay and maybe give us a feel for what happened. Neither of them want to talk. A very frustrated night for Jason Leffler and Jay Drake.
In a case like that, when you're upset, you're angry, it's kind of wise to walk away and collect your thoughts and not say something I'll be sorry for later.
Well, that's right. And you know, they are both upset. And just like I said, I don't blame either one of them. If I'm sitting in either seat, I'm going to be upset with the other guy probably. Although, you know, if you're in the lead, the racetrack should be yours. And speaking of the racetrack being yours, Tracy Hines gives a heck of a shot to Ryan Newman. The great thing about Ryan Newman, though, he never flinches. He never changes his line. He hasn't done anything. He just kept running that same pattern. He says, if you want to go around me, you're going to have to do it the hard way. I'm going to
know what my line is.
That's right.
Going by.
That's right. And Tracy Hines keeps trying, and he, you know, he's got to do it here in about a lap or two. He can't just keep running that bottom line. He's going to heat that right rear tire up. So it might be interesting to see. Now he might just drop back and stay there. Nope, he's going to try it again.
Well, you're looking at two of the rising stars in racing. Once again, the NHL tonight coming up immediately following the conclusion of the annual Budweiser night before the 500. In the years to come, when these guys are superstars, you're going to think back, you know, we watched them go head-to-head at Raceway Park one night on the Deuce.
Yeah, now that Tracy Hines, he ran for about 3 laps down in that low groove. The low groove heats the tire up more than the top groove. So now then he's going to have to get back up there, cool that tire down, just kind of take it easy for a lap or two before he tries to make that pass again. I think he is a little bit faster than Ryan Newman right now, but catching somebody and passing them are two different things on this racetrack.
Tracy is also showing maturity to know he has to fall back and let that tire cool off.
Well, and both these guys, very mature young men, and they both have proven that, well, the reason you win races in this circuit is by being cool and being smart. Both of these guys are.
So right now they work on lap 37. 36 laps complete of a 50-lapper. The yellows do not count.
And they have opened up about a half a straightaway lead on the third place car. So those two guys are the two guys to beat in the race right now. Nobody else even close, as Shelton is running in third place. Once again, he dives to the bottom of the racetrack. He hangs in down there, but Ryan Newman just will not give in. He's going to stay on the throttle, and he's going to say, no, not going to let you do it. Now again, he falls right behind. He's going to take it easy for a lap or two.
Dryden chassis against a stealth chassis. And remember, you heard Dryden talk about the soft compound they went to on the right rear. We're not sure what the compound is on the 71 car, but he's certainly working that right rear.
Yeah, they're both working the right rear pretty hard. You can see right there, Ryan Newman got just a little bit sideways as he came off the corner.
Yellow on the racetrack. Number 7 showing some smoke. Well, that's the Gerster car. That's the Predator chassis.
Well, and earlier they had an oil, the seal on the oil filter come loose. That's what dumped all the oil out there, and they don't want a repeat of that. So they saw the smoke. They threw the yellow flag just to check it out. They've given him the black flag. He's going to have to go in and at least get checked to see if he is putting oil on the racetrack.
Well, this certainly has become a race of attrition. Keep your nose clean, stay out of trouble, and you might have a top 5 finish here.
Well, that's right. Rick Treadway now, who started very far back, he's running in 8th or 9th position right now.
He's up to 7th position right now with the camera car. And how about that drive by John Heidenreich?
Well, Heidenreich there for a while, right after that last yellow flag, when the tires cooled down, he appeared to have the fastest race car on the racetrack. But he's come all the way from 22nd to 5th, so he's having a heck of a run.
Well, once again, the yellows do not count, so this gives the drivers that were battling up in front a chance to cool off that right rear. And let's take a look at who's still in this fracas here. There's a look at the 71 car, Tracy Hines. And there's Ricky Shelton back there in 3rd. There's the 4th of Dan Dryden. There's the 5th place car. There's Heidenreich.
That's Heidenreich. He started 22nd, already up to 5th. Then 6th comes Clay Klepper in the 17th car. 8th is Ricky Treadway.
Oh, it's 7th.
7th, I'm sorry, is Ricky Treadway.
There's 8th, Boyce.
Boyce.
Is that green? Is that a green race car?
They didn't know what to call it, so I'm sure not going to name it either.
There's Nervo in the 9th position, so only 9 drivers running after we lost the black 7 of Gerster.
Yeah, they are currently, the officials are looking at his car, seeing if it is, it looks like they've determined that it is okay. They're all huddled down there looking at it right now. And if he is determined that he's not throwing any oil, they will put him back on the racetrack and put him back in his proper position. 12 laps to go in this race.
There's that Predator chassis that's built by Kenny Irwin Sr. They're working on midgets and the sprint cars and the silver bullet cars as well.
Yeah, and it looks like, I don't know, one of the mechanics back there, he's shaking his head, so it doesn't look like they're going to let the race car go back out on the racetrack, although they need to make up their minds one way or the other. I mean, it should be pretty simple.
Situation?
Yeah, well, it's either leaking oil or it isn't. Either
Corner
you
and Builder right behind us.
So I don't know what they're taking so long looking at that thing for.
Let's go to Johnny Parsons. Johnny?
Yeah, here with Kenny Irwin Sr. Kenny, your new car was looking good tonight. What happened there?
I really don't think anything's happened. They just, we had a oil filter break on the heat race. It put so much oil, we just never got everything wiped off, and it just finally, you know, just coming out. But I don't really think there's anything wrong with it.
Well, for your first outing with your brand new race car, both of them looked good when they were up front running, and you know, congratulations on that part, but tough luck. I'm sure we'll see more of you in the Predator.
Right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Back to you, Gary.
So we're down now to what, 9 cars?
Yeah, and they are putting oil dry out down there in the turn 3 and 4 area. That's the reason. I thought they were holding it up because they were trying to figure out whether it was leaking oil or not, but they had the truck on the racetrack putting down oil dry up there in the 3 and 4 area. Now it is off the track, so we should get this race restarted here fairly quickly. You can see they've just, it looks like they've just spotted the oil. That's those little white spots are the oil dry they put down out there. They'll probably run the cars through there this time through just to kind of spread that out and work some of the so there they go. The pace car at least is running through.
I'm telling you what, if it were not a full moon, the race would have been over a long time ago.
Well, 1 lap to go.
Damaged cars.
If we have any luck at all, 12 laps later, we'll know who wins this thing. But right now, it appears that Tracy Hines and Ryan Newman are going to be the 2 guys to shoot it out. Ricky Shelton, with his tire cooled down, could have a shot.
Let's quickly go back to the pit lane. Johnny?
Well, yeah, with Jay Drake. Jay, doggone it, you were running good up there. What happened, buddy?
Yeah, the car got real fast there about the middle of the race, and we started coming on and got inside him for a few laps in a row there, and you know, he moved down the block, and I was there, and I jumped up over his left rear, and he just has a real problem with me getting around him or being in front of me, and it's like he said at the chili bowl, he's not fast enough to get out of the way. Move out of the way.
Tough luck, Jay. We'll see you next time. Back to you, Gary.
Well, he had a chance to collect his thoughts, and
well, these guys have had a running feud, and obviously it's not over yet. So they're not going to be having too many.
They won't be going to dinner this evening,
right.
will they?
They're not going to go have a beer after this race is over. That's for sure.
Well, once again, all these drivers have had a chance to cool off that right rear, so now it's time to show what cards you have.
Well, you can see that Hines still right on the back bumper of Ryan Newman. It looked like Shelton was going to hang with him for a lap or 2, but he's fallen back 3 or 4 car lengths. So those first 2 guys, once again, just like they did before, pulled away from the rest of the field.
10 laps to go, 40 laps down, 10 laps to go. Still the battle up in front. Ryan very consistent in that middle groove. You indicated earlier, Larry, that is the groove to run.
Yeah, and Tracy Hines is doing a great job getting down in there. He just can't scare him out of the groove. He's trying to get down there, move up. He moved up a little bit, got real close to him, and Ryan Newman just wouldn't give way.
Well, as we watch this battle for the lead, we heard from Jay Drake. Let's hear Amy and Jason Leffler.
Okay, Jason, Jay Drake thought that he showed you your nose and that maybe you might have come down. I'm guessing you're going to probably say the opposite. What happened in your viewpoint of it?
Well, I went into one and someone hit me from behind. You know, I didn't know anybody was down there. My car was getting loose up high, so I was moving around trying to catch Ryan Newman. You know, that's what good race car drivers do, try to get going faster, and I just felt the thump. I could have kept it off the wall, but I mean, I'm driving one-handed. So, I mean, you don't run into the back of somebody here. I mean, you know where they're at. So, I mean, he had to follow me, you know, for the whole race. I'm just, yeah, it's one of them racing deals, but it's the way it goes.
All right, you guys heard it. We've now heard from Drake. We've now heard from Leffler. Neither wanted to come stand next to each other and look at the monitor, but they both have different viewpoints as we expected.
No surprise there.
No surprise there. Both of them, you know, they're going to blame the other guy. Like I said, they've had a running feud, and I can see both viewpoints, although
Jason was kind of, you know, when you're following a guy, you know he's kind of moving around.
Well, you know, it's just a tough deal. You know, you hate to place blame on any kind of a race car driver in a situation like that.
All right, it looks to me, assess this situation here. Tracy Hines cooling off the tire for one last shot at Ryan Newman.
Well, yeah, that's the only chance he's going to have. He's going to have to get back there. He's going to have to cool the tire down, and he's going to have to give it one last bonsai shot. You can see he was back 5 or 6 car lengths. Now he's back 2 car lengths. Next time around, he'll be even closer than that, because you're exactly right, Gary. He cooled the tire down. Now he's moved down a little bit just to see what the race car is going to feel like. Now he's going to give him this. This might be the one. Nope, not this time.
4 laps to go. 4 laps to go. This is going to be the last shot effort by Tracy, the youngster, a full-time race driver out of Newcastle, Indiana, against the youngster from South Bend, Indiana, who's a race driver slash student.
And Tracy Hines has been very patient down in that bottom groove. He's tried to move down there and run that bottom groove and make a pass make. He hasn't tried the big blow in there and give him a slide job type move. And maybe that might be the only way he's going to make this thing work, is John Nervo is still running very slowly on the inside of the racetrack.
They're working on lap 48, 2 laps to go as they flash off the corner and down through the front straightaway.
And it appears that Tracy just can't quite muster up enough speed in that bottom groove. And the more he runs down there, and he's been running down there for about 3 laps now, it seems like that tire is going to get hotter and hotter. So with only 1 lap to go, you might as well give her a shot. Is he going to do it this time? No, not quite.
The white flag out for Ryan Newman in 39, right behind him. Everybody on their feet. They flash by the start-finish line. And look at this move on the inside. And again, Newman does not flinch. Newman does not flinch. What a young gunslinger. If you never blink. He never blinks.
If you blink your eyes, you lose in this little match of chicken. And he played chicken as good as anybody ever has.
Ryan Newman is going to take the 2nd victory in 3 years. A nice ovation. There's his mom. There's Diane. We'll look for his dad, Greg, in there. Look for his sister, Jamie. There's Greg. So we saw this reenacted just a week ago when he won here. So back-to-back victories for Ryan here at Raceway Park. So once again, be sure to join us on the 9th from Winchester. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network. Go.